So good morning, all of you. Can everybody see the screen? Okay, this is an older one. Just a second. So we are currently gathered today for the final season, the fourth season of student presentations. And today the semester 4 students, they will be presenting their topics on the topic of research methodology. Let me share the screen so that visible? Okay. So first we will have Bhargav Makwana, who will present on the impact of digital databases on modern research practices. Next, we will have Bhumi Mahida, who will speak on the building blocks of academic writing, mechanics, and best practices. Then we will have Rutvi Pal, who will speak on types and styles of academic citations. Then Dhruvika Gohil, who will speak on plagiarism in humanities versus sciences, disciplinary variations. Next, we will have Divya Palidra, who will speak on the evolution of academic writing from print culture to digital scholarship and network knowledge systems. Then we will have Jai Vaghani, who will present on cultural perspectives on academic integrity, authorship, knowledge, traditions, and post-colonial tensions. Next, we will have Jyoti Mehr, who will speak on ethics in education, combating plagiarism in higher studies. Next, we will have Khushi Goswami, who will present on the role and types of bibliography in academic research. After her, we will have Khushi Makwana, who will present on plagiarism as an ethical failure, moral philosophy, and academic. Next, we will have Khushi Ravia, who will speak on digital authorship and the crisis of originality in contemporary research. After her, we will have Krishna Vada, who will present on From Wikipedia to JSTOR, evaluating credibility and authority in academic research. Next, we will have Krupali Belam, who will speak on research methodology in the age of AI, evolution, ethics, and challenges. After her, we will have Kumkum Hirani, who will speak on From Plagiarism to Intertextuality, where do we draw the line in research writing? Next, we will have Parthiv Solanki, who will speak on ghostwriting and hidden authorship in academia, ethical, legal, scholarly, and technological implications. After her, we will have Sankit Wavadia, who will speak on an analytical study of research and its major types. After him, we will have Trupti Harya, who will speak on from intertextuality to scholarly networks, the structuring function of citation. And finally, we will have Mansi Joshi, who will speak on the importance of academic integrity in higher education. So we will begin with Bhargav Makwana. The stage is yours.
So today I am going to take the impact of a digital database on modern research practices. Sorry. My research question is how have digital database and open access tool transformed modern scholarly research practices, productivity and knowledge production? My research hypothesis is the integration of digital database and AI assisted tools significantly improve the research productivity, efficiency, and interdisciplinary collaboration in modern scholarly environments. So, in introduction, academic database are not merely storage units. They are dynamic tools that allows the tracing of ideas across the time. So, basically, throughout this presentation, I would try to try to trace the development of libraries and digital databases. First of all, database is a digital repository or a collection of academic resources, research articles, paper journals, books, conference proceedings, and other scholarly materials that are related to various academic disciplines. Thus, it suggests a transformation from a localized physical invaders to a distributed digital process. The epistemology shift. So, first of all, the age of Trinity, research limited by physical proximity specific building, abundance, democratization of access, rare and fragile materials, challenges, moving from finding enough information to too much information. So, basically, before the online website like JSTOR or Google Scholars, we only have limited access. Like there were some libraries or some specific buildings which were used for research work. But now in present time, we have a digital revolution. So in this time, we don't have just little but correct information, but we have lots of dozens of information is available online, and we have to know how to specify them and get the correct information for our research. Evolution from research libraries to student in 1950, libraries look like satellites of learnings. Knowledge came packaged between the hardcovers, and the great literary seemed to contain all of it. Since 1990s, technology has rapidly charged the world. YouTube માં જો. The emergence of digital technology has accelerated to libraries subscription to journal databases, ebooks, catalogings, and the reference management. These online database resources dependent the availability of electronic resources and extend the boundaries of research, academic research. So, in basically before 10 to 15 or even 50 years back, there were only libraries. They don't have any access or the website that we can use now. So they need to depend on library or the hardcore books for their arguments or to strengthen their points. But now we don't have that limitation. So with the help of digitalization, we can overcome that boundary. The evolution, the register-based service in academic libraries, cyber technology are taking places of library. Printed materials in modern libraries are automated and subscribed. Database resources are considered an internal part of academic achievement. So even in today's time, we like to go in the libraries which already provide their book list or the which are the books that are available in their uh, library. So we can get an overview like, okay, this type of book I can get from that. And changing architecture, the library is no longer just a physical space but a gateway to subscribe content. Like many institutions are now used to take a subscription plan for their institution, throughout which they can get more access on the data. Types of digital resources like bibliographic database, Scopus, Web of Science, PubMed, and Google Scholars are examples of it. Then full text repositories like Gesture and Science Direct, institutional repositories, which are also known as gray literature. So, what is a gray literature? It is a type of work which institution developed for itself to resource, not for any economic purpose. Like in institution repository is a digital archive managed by university or a research institution to collect and preserve all the academic output. It can be called specifically we can include dissertation or thesis in it. Then subject versus multidisciplinary. So in PubMed mainly covers the medicine and the life science, while in Scopus includes science, social science, arts, and more. Then a case study, the role of a jester. So jester was found by William G. Bauman. Its purpose was to solve the problem of academic libraries running out space to store printed journals, aiming to make scholarly research more accessible and suitable. Now bridges the gap between elite universities and the smaller institutions by providing access to the same historical breadth. Here is the case study. Like they are also providing JSTOR Seek kind of AI, which tries to help the researcher, and it assists and help to summarize and summarize any scholarly article. So here is that work was done by them to say that what type of improvement does it make. So here is the data. And the challenge in one earlier project, two students described 250 images using AI and manual review, even working 20 hours per week. It took nearly a year. At that speed, finishing the whole archiver would take decades. So the solution is that JSTOR Seeklight, the team tested a new process on 172 photographs. A student uploads the images with the background information. AI created draft description. Student reviewed and corrected the draft, and the sensitive information was carefully checked before publishing. This changed their role from writing everything manually to writing and managing AI generated content. There is a article also, AI draft and people decide. Gestor Seeklight generated the first passed descriptive metadata, but the students were empowered to review, correct, and approve outputs in collaboration with Rusty automation and handled repetitive drafting human retain authority. Then Google Scholar. So it was founded by Anurag Acharya and Alex Verstak. Its purpose was to help researchers and students to find academic research and to build upon existing scholarly work. The case like Gesture also, we have Google Scholar. Both have their benefits and limitations also as a digital database. Like here I have taken the benefits of Google Scholar. We can same apply on Gesture also. Accessibility and cost. So mostly articles available here are free of cost, and some takes some charges also. Broader coverage, speed of indexing, specialized context, and library and citation tools are also available here. The limitations, lack of transparency. Many times there are like if currently we use notebook lm and give a specific article to it, but if it is taken from another website, so it will not provide the specific name of that person, but it will track about or search or type name here. Then inaccurate metadata because of the involving AI and the uses of that. We have so much information that created the confusion in the mind of scholars. Then full text essays and issues. Sometimes what happen that they particularly provide a specific part of the article so that is can be called a limitation of it. Then integration into active research workflow. So here after the changes and evolving AI, what a researcher has to do is to locate, compare, analyze, and assimilate. Repository must be assimilated into active research process, not treated merely as a post publication storage like There were researches also available in the library in the ancient time, but today in present time we have online database, so that's why we can reuse that data. As the digital humanity continues to evolve, the field is poised to explore new furnitures that build on the technological advancement, interdisciplinary collaboration, and inclusive research practices. The researchers analyze and contextualize the content stimulously. So now, what researchers are doing, they are reusing the data to change it and to provide a new perspective in it. Then digital libraries, a furniture for curriculum shift. What is LIS stand for Laboratory Information and Systemometer, that manages, stores, and transfer patient data related to medical laboratory test and curriculum. And the curriculum shift. The prospective librarians highlight higher education need professional skills training in IT database. So here around throughout this slide, I am trying to saying that there are some changes in library and database, so that according to that the human needs to be evolved as always. Then lack of awareness remains the major limitation or major obstacle, that students often lack the skill on leverage tools effectively. Here is also database, like how after the help of JSTOR and other online databases, the researchers was growing continuously, and it was qualitative, not quantitative. Here is the data of that. There is a research on it done by Rafael L. And he has compared the 52 major universities, and the database are shown, or researcher help productivity. The database was mainly taken from Science Direct, IEE, JSTOR, and other references. Then impact on literature review. We can get transitional from physical card catalog, browsing complex Boolean and key queries. Visibility is now determined by ranking algorithm influencing what is considered canonical. So now there is a new type of we can consider it a help also, and some boundary also. Like we have now some keywords also. Throughout that keyword, we can get the clear information also. Then user education tools like gray literature research allows for transparent searching of non-academic sources, expanding the evidentiary scope. Then citation practices and discovery. So this is the basic, like how we have a document which are stored in libraries, and how throughout the scanning and digitalization we can create a soft copy of it. Enabling interdisciplinary research. So, because of interdisciplinary research, we can now consider more than one disciplinary in our work. Like today, also we can combine psychology, science, and other things together, which are not similar but different part. But with the help of this metadata, we can create a collaboration between them. Research output and qualitative. Digitalization of documentation and digital archives help reader to get speed in their work, and cognitive impact is assess improves the researcher cognitive ability by framing resources for analysis rather than retrieval. And the use of a standard resource foster a higher academic research and develop innovative ideas. The future of AI and automated synthesis. The future which I have already discussed, that how AI is helping to synthesize and all. But there is the FAIR principle, provided framework to ensure that digital research data are findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable, improving their usability and impact in the scientific community. Here are my references, and thank you. Now, have any question then?
So, Bhargav, my question is: in what ways do AI integrated platforms such as JSTOR, Google Scholar influence knowledge visibility, citation practices, and academic authority?
They are very much useful, but to say that they are only useful, that would be problematic. we can say that they are helping also. Even in making this presentation, I have taken the help of AI, but we have to factually check that okay, this is there, so is it helping or is it really there or not?
My question is, can AI-based tools enhance systematic searching and transparency in research methodology?
Yes, but that would be dependent on the researcher and the tool which he is using, because we have already discussed that research is based now on database. But if you are taking citations or any other references from the third party website, then you would not be transparent in your research. So we must consider that point also, and that then we type to find our work. That was from my side. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Today I'm here with a presentation on the building blocks of academic writing, mechanics, and best practices. Here are the academic information, table of content. The research question is how do writing mechanics like a grammar, spelling, punctuation, and formatting influence the clarity of professionalism of academic writing? And what are the key difference between the academic and non-academic writing styles in terms of structure and language use? How does knowledge of grammar fundamentals improve sentence structure and coherence in academic work? And what common mechanical errors do students make in academic writing, and how can they be avoided? Hypothesis is student who understand writing mechanics will produce clearer and more professional academic test. Proper application of grammar rules like a subject verb agreement, pronoun agreement, tense consistency significantly improves academic writing quality. Awareness of common spelling and capitalization rules reduce mechanical errors in academic assignments. Following standardization for formatting and citation guideline enhance the academic credibility of written work. Starting the introduction, what are the first is the what are the writing mechanics? So writing mechanics are the technical aspects of writing that ensure clarity, consistency, and professionalism in academic work. So in this, we can find the spelling and word usage. So first is it should be a correct spelling, proper word choice, and avoiding homophones confusion. Then second is the grammar and sentence structure. So as we all know that subject verb agreement, common rules, grammar rules, we all know that subject verb agreement, pronoun usage, verb tense consistency, sentence completeness. So there is these are should be there in our writing, whether it is a research or thesis or dissertation, or it can be helpful in our university exam as well. And then punctuation and capitalization, so proper use of commas, periods, semicolons, colons, quotation marks, and apostrophes, capital letters for proper nouns and titles. And then formatting and style convention, what it includes. So margins and spacing requirements, font selection and size, heading hierarchy, citations, and format. Then academic versus non-academic writing. So in this, we can find the difference between the academic writing and non-academic writing. So whether we can write the thesis or research or dissertation or anything, so we have to keep in mind this kind of this information, that formal tone and language it should be there, evidence-based arguments, structure, organization, citations and references, objective perspectives, and specialized terminology. And then if we use non-academic writing, so there should be a conversational tone, day-to-day life. We can this use this. Then personal opinion, flexible structure, limited citations, subjective viewpoint, and common vocabulary. Then grammar fundamentals. So there are the three essential rules which highlight, or we can say that we can use in our writing, that the subject verb agreement, the subject and verb must agree in a number. The data are comprehensive. The data is comprehensive. We cannot say that the data is comprehensive, because the data is more than more than one, so the data are comprehensive. Then second is the pronouns antecedent agreement. So pronoun must match their antecedents in a number and gender. So each students completed their works, so we cannot say that each student completed his works. These are the very basic information, but very essential, these rules we can use in our research writing. Then third is the verb tense consistency. Maintain consistent verb tense throughout your writing unless time shift. So for the example, Smith 2020 argued that climate change affects biodiversity. So we have to maintain our consistency for this. Then common spelling pitfalls. So homophones, so there, there, its effect, principles. So these are the different spelling as well as different pronunciation as well as the different meaning. So in this we can find that their possessive, showing the possessiveness. The students submitted their assignments on time. There is place or accession, so the library is over there. There are the three main findings in the study, and they are, so contraction of they are avoiding academic writing. So this you in this you can find that they are conducting research. So this is the informal tone, but in the better tone we can say that they are conducting research. So this should be avoid in our academic writing. And then commonly confusing words like a complement, accept, advise. So in this complement is something that completes or enhances. So qualitative data complement quantitative findings, and these two theory complement each other. And then complement that praise or flattery, so the viewer complement the methodology. So these common words or common pronunciation we can make the confusing in our writing. Then American versus British. So organize, color. So in this American, we can use this is the or versus our endings. In the American, there should be a or at the last word, and in British, our, the use in the last word, that color, favor, honor, behavior. And then context matters. So spell checkers don't catch homophones because they are all correctly spelled but just used in the wrong context. The team submitted their findings. Spell check won't catch this. The team submitted their findings. Then capitalization rules. So proper noun, name of specific people, place, organization. So capitalization as much as important in the writing as well. Like example, Harvard University, Dr. Johnson's, New York. So the noun, the first letter should be a capital. Then titles, academic and professional titles before names. Then Professor Smith, President Lincoln. Then first word, beginning of a sentence, and the direct quotations. The study began, she said, results vary. Major words in titles capitalize, main words in heading, not articles, propositions. But the example, the effect of climate change on biodiversity. Then formatting best practices. The first is margins and spacing. So we know we have to keep in mind that the basic these margins, 1 inch margins all around, and this font selection, times New Roman, and then this heading and section. So hierarchical structure, H1, H2, this, and descriptive titles we have to maintain. Then citation, we have to follow the style guide like APA, ML, and Chicago. In text citation for all sources, completed references list. Then common mistakes to avoid, to like run on sentence without proper punctuation. So we have to maintain this, we have to avoid this kind of mistakes. We have to use the proper punctuation mark, proper grammar, verb, subject, verb agreement, and everything. Then sentence fragments lacking subject, verb, passive voice. Then consistent formatting and style missing or incorrect citations, wordiness, and redundancy. Then first person pronouncing the formal writing, and then contractions. Also this, as I mentioned earlier, that do not versus don't, like this. Here I conclude my presentation. In conclusion, mastering the mechanics of academic writing is essential for effective scholarly communication. Throughout this presentation, we have explored the fundamental buildings blocks, grammar and sentence structure, punctuation and capitalization, spelling and word usage, and formatting conventions. These mechanics are not merely technical requirements, they are the foundation upon which clear, credible, and professional academic writing is built. By understanding the distinction between academic and non-academic writing, avoiding common errors, and following systematic writing process of planning, drafting, revising, editing, and proofreading as well. So like you can significantly enhance the quality of your work. And remember that excellence is academic writing is achieved through consistent practice and attention to detail. Here is my learning outcome that define writing mechanics and explain their importance in academic writing, differentiate between the academic and non-academic writing, then apply grammar fundamentals such as a subject verb agreement, identify the correct common spelling, punctuation, and capitalization errors, implement proper formatting conventions, including heading, fonts, and spacing and citation styles, and recognize and avoid common academic writing mistakes such as um, run on sentences and inconsistent formatting, and produce clear, coherent, and professionally structured academic writing. These are my references. Here I put the further information like this. Both the YouTube video you have to must watch for the your further and more information for the academic writing and mechanics of writing. And thank you so much. Now you are free to ask question.
My question is, how do writing mechanics contribute to academic ethics beyond just technical correctness?
Mechanics of writing supports ethics, academic ethics, academic ethics to this or writer show their ideas perfectly and present their ideas, and you also show that from where this information come from, and give the original citation to the author, which is prove that avoid the plagiarism as well. So this and also this prevents the misunderstanding and representation of the style. So this academic ethics is contribute to the mechanics of writing.
So my question is, how can writing mechanic influence the interpretation of research findings, even when the research itself is strong?
uh, Mechanics of writing is influence. Mechanics of writing is important, but even the research finding is strong. It seems it seems too confusing if they are not using proper grammar, that subject verb agreement, and punctuations like a commas, periods. So it may be it may confusing and misunderstanding to the readers as well. This we have to use proper grammar structure, punctuations, then avoid this kind of mistakes in our writing, so it help to show the better work. So yes, this is from my side. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, myself Ruti Pal. Today I will discuss types and style of academic citation in research writing. I will try to do my best, and here is my academic information, table of contents. And first, my research question is: how do different citation style contribute to academic integrity and the credibility of scholarly research across the discipline? And my hypothesis is proper and consistent use of discipline specific citation style strengthen the academic integrity, enhance research credibility, and improve the transparency of scholarly communication. And why academic citation matters in research writing. Citation allows research to enter the scholarly conversation, and it gives credit for creative and intellectual work used in research. According to the article, citation play a crucial role in academic research by providing credibility, acknowledging intellectual property, and ensuring the integrity of scholarly work. As MLA handbook explained, by using MLA style, you will directly your research reader to the source. You consult it, arrive at your finding, and you will unable to them to build on your work. Citation style standardize how information is ordered and presented in scholarly writing. And what is academic citation? According to University of Pittsburgh Library, a citation is the way of giving credit to individuals for their creative and intellectual work that you utilize to support your research. And citation is a reference to the source of information used within the text of any research. And a citation style dictates the information necessary for citation and how the information is ordered. And purpose is citation enable research to enter the scholarly conversation. Is the document help order build on your work, and it allow reader to locate and retrieve original source. And ethical importance is citation play a crucial role in academic research by providing credibility, acknowledging intellectual property, and ensuring the integrity of the scholarly work. And it is necessary to attribute any thoughts, words, and idea that you are not your own to the original author. And the MLA handbook include a dedicated chapter on plagiarism and explain the importance of proper documentation to avoid academic misconduct. And proper documentation allow reader to verify claim and evaluate the reliability of the research. And research credibility is strengthened when sources are transparently documented. And major types of citation: in-text citation, footnote, and endnotes. In-text citation, it means appear with the body of the text and correspondence to a reference list entries. Here is the example of the in-text citation, like American Psychological Library. In the MLA handbook explained that writers place brief reference to the source in parenthesis within the text. Here, this modern language association of America, this itself we can say it is an in-text cite example of in-text citation. And the footnote. Footnote means it appear at the bottom of the page and provide full or additional source in detail. And footnotes are commonly used in documentary note step such as Chicago. Here is the example of footnote in APA citation. And here in the second photograph, I put the example of MLA footnotes. Here you can find one, and here is the also one. So it is considered as a footnote. And endnote, it is similar to endnote, but it appears at footnote but appear at the end of the chapter or document. It is considered the one list in that it is only one. And here is we can say the after chapter we put that it can be the chapter and note. In short, in text citation, brief source information within the text, and footnotes source details at the bottom of the page, and endnote source detail at the end of the document. And parenthesis, it is author date and citation style. It is similar to the in-text citation. MLA use brief reference in the parenthesis within the text. How to parenthetical citation work? That include author last name plus page number, no comma between the page. And for the example, Smith, and it is the page number 14. As the MLA handbook explained, the writer include brief reference to the source in parentheses within the body of the paper. Example here is the with author mentioned in the sentence. Here only the page number appears in the parenthesis because the author's name is already in the sentence. Amta argue that. And in the without author in sentence side, here is the both author name and the page. In this example, the both the author name, last name, and the page number appear in the parenthesis. In example 3, corporate author, when no page number is available, only the organization name is used. The purpose of the parenthetical citation prevent plagiarism, maintain academic credibility, and enable readers to locate source in the work cited list or the reference. And numerical citation is use a superscript number in the text to correspond note to note the bottom of the page or end of the document. Here as the it consider footnote or also endnote. Here is the example of both. And the purpose of the numerical style is provide structured documentation and ensure academic integrity and enhance credibility through the detailed reference. And here is I prepare short that how where in text is a works cited page and numerical is the bottom of the page and end of the document. Here is overview of the major citation links. Here a paper table, and after that we will discuss in details. MLA who said and where with page number, and in AP and Howard who said it and when in with year mention, and Chicago detailed notes and full documentation. So first is MLN. The MLA handbook explains that MLA style is a system for documenting source that enable writers to direct your reader to the source you consult in arriving at your finding. And the key feature of the MLA style is use author plus plus page number, no comma between the author and page, include a work cited list page, and use primarily in humanities and liberal arts, connect in-text citation directly to work entry. Here is we are using various source in we can use book, journal article, website, 2 author, 3 author plus 3+ author, or no author, or poetry. So I take some of the example and put here that how we can cite them as in-text and work cited entry. And APA style for social science, business, and the related discipline, the preferred citation style is the American Psychological Association, and the list edition latest edition is the 7th edition. And APA 7 follow the author date method for in-text citation, and it also states that all materials cited in text must appear in the reference list at the end of the document. Key feature of the style: use author date citation system, emphasize publication year, require a reference list, use hanging indentation and title in the sentence case, common in social science. Same as I put as MLA thing that how we can use it. And Chicago, that style offer two documentation system depending on the discipline, and it is also considered in similar to notes and bibliography. And author date emphasize detailed documentation through the number notes, emphasize publication year, and consent referring, allow to flexibility depending on the disciplinary preference. Same note bibliography and author date that how used in humanities and history, science, social science. Here is and the detailed version of the notes and bibliography system, author date system, and Harvard referencing style. It an author date citation similar to APA, and it used the author surname and year of publication in parentheses within the text. And in-text example and reference list, that how in-text will appear and how reference will appear. And IEE style. IEE use a numbered citation system where reference are numbered in the order they appear in the text. Feature is number is the square brackets and reference listed in numerical order, and no author name in text citation, highly structured and precise. Here is the example of both. And overall table how I use and how it will look it, and difference use of overall citation style and digital citation tool, mainly Google Doc citation tool, citation machine, Purdue OWL. These are the digital citation tool that we can use in for our research paper citation or other work. And common citation error, that in which formatting errors, missing reference, inconsistent quotation error, digital tools error, and capture, etc. And conclusion: academic citation is not merely a technical requirement but a fundamental principle of scholarly writing. It's enable research to enter the academic conversation, acknowledge intellectual contribution, and maintain academic integrity by providing credibility, preventing plagiarism, and allowing readers to verify source citation, strengthen the reliability and transparency of research. Here is the references, and thank you. This is from my side.
Rutvi, my question is, does citation frequency always indicate research quality?
Maybe or maybe not, we can say no, because if is a familiar topic or a common topic, people will one research paper, and that it view will increase. We cannot say that paper is qualitative or not. If it is popular topic, then everyone will see that what is in it. People use for it for the they like him, they criticize also, but we cannot consider it as that this reference is so this paper is so for many times that this quality of paper is good. So basis on frequency, we cannot say that the quality of paper is high or.
So, Rutvi, my question is, why is this topic important for postgraduate or PhD scholars?
This topic is important for graduate and PhD scholar, because we require authentic sources and new knowledge. If it is not in that, we will not go for the authentic resources. And here we can say that also can be case of plagiarism. Recently we find in Surat. So the citation is more important, so we can find authentic sources in our dissertation or in PhD work. So this is from my side. Thank you.
Hello everyone, myself Dhruvika Gohel. Today I present my presentation topic is plagiarism in humanities versus science, disciplinary variations. This is my personal information. This is a table of contents. Research question: how does the conceptual understanding of plagiarism differ between the humanities and the science, and how are these differences shaped by the epistemological foundation of each disciplines? Hypothesis: plagiarism is conceptualized differently in the humanities and the science due to their distinct epistemological framework, interpretive authority in the humanities, and data integrity in the science. Introduction: Plagiarism is the unethical use of someone else's ideas, words, or research without proper acknowledgement. It violates academic integrity, which is based on honesty, transparency, and a respect for intellectual work. Across all disciplines, giving credit to original source is essential to maintain trust and credibility in scholarship. Plagiarism appears differently in humanities and science. In the humanities, it often involves copying ideas or language in interpretive writing. In the science, it may involve misuse of data, methods, and duplicate publications. Thus, its forms, consequence, and standard by vary according to disciplinary practice and research methods. Defining plagiarism, a theoretical framework. Plagiarism includes verbatim copying, page writing, paraphrasing without citation, self-plagiarism, and data or idea theft. All these forms involves using intellectual works with a proper acknowledgement and falsely claiming originality. Theoretical context. Theoretically, plagiarism violates intellectual property rights, challenge authorship authority, and breaks certain scientific norms of originality and proper credit. It undermines the ethical foundation of academic scholarship. Nature of knowledge in humanities. In the humanities, such as literature, philosophy, and history, knowledge is interpretive and argumentative. Scholars focus on originality, interpretation, critical voice, and theoretical perspective, and language plays as a central role in shaping meaning. Individual authorship and originality are strongly valued. Therefore, plagiarism in the humanities often involves borrowing ideas, copying distinguishing language, or using another scholar's conceptual framework without acknowledgement. Since expression and interpretations are central, even ideas-based limitation is considered a serious ethical violations. Nature of knowledge in science. In the science such as physics, biology, medicines, and engineering, knowledge is empirical, experimental, and collaborative. Research is based on data collection, methodological accuracy, replicability of result, and objective findings. Scientific writing is usually standardized and the structures, and multi-authorship is common due to teamwork in laboratory research projects. Therefore, plagiarism in the science often involves data fabrications, image or figure manipulation, copying research methods, or improper attributions of finding. Scientific credibility depends on data integrity, and accurate reporting such as misconduct in consider serious violations of research ethics. Key difference in forms of plagiarism. In the humanities, plagiarism mainly involves idea theft, language copying, theoretical misuse, ghostwriting, and self-plagiarisms. Because originality of expression and interpretations is central. Here, language is treated as intellectual property. And in the science, plagiarism focus on data theft, image duplications, methodological copying, ghost authorship, and duplicate of publications, since research depend on imperial evidence. In the field, data is considered intellectual property. Authorship and collaboration. In the humanities, authorship is usually individual. Scholars take personal owner of their arguments, interpretations, and writing style, and there is a strong connection between the author's identity and the text. Original voice and intellectual responsibility are central, so plagiarism directly affect personal academic credibility. In the science, research is often collaborative, involving multiple authors and research teams. This can lead to ethical issues such as gift authorship, adding names without contribution, and ghost authorship is excluding real contributions, and disputes over author orders. Since authorship functions differently in each field, the ethical concerns surrounding plagiarism and credit also vary. Self-plagiarism, a disciplinary divide. Self-plagiarism is viewed differently across disciplines. In the humanities, reusing the same arguments or paragraphs in multiple works is strongly criticized because originality of thoughts and expression is essential. In the science, limited issues of standard methodology, descriptive may be tolerated by but duplicate publication or recycling data is considered serious misconduct. The key distinctions is between text recycling and data recycling. Detection and institutional mechanism. In the humanities, plagiarism detection primarily relies on software such as Turnitin and Enthicate, which identify a textual similarity and overlapping language. Since scholarship in these fields emphasize interpretation and written expression, detection mechanism focus mainly on copied text, paragraphing patterns, and citation accuracy. In the science, detection extend beyond text matching tools. It include data edits, careful peer review scrutiny, retraction mechanism through academic journals, and image forensic tools to identity manipulated figures or duplicate images. Because scientific research often involves funding, public health, and technological development, confirmed misconduct can lead to service consequences such as article retraction, loss of funding, and formal institution investigations. Ethical implications of consequence in the humanities, plagiarism is considered intellectual theft that directly damage as a scholar's credibility and academic reputation. Since originality of interpretations and critical thinking are central, copying ideas, language, and undermines the authentic of scholarship and weakens trust within the academic community. In the science, plagiarism has a wider and more serious consequence. It can mislead future research, especially it falls or stolen data or used as foundation or few for new studies. In fields like medicine, misconduct may even harm patients. It can also waste public funding and damage public trust in scientific institutions. Therefore, scientific plagiarism often carries broader social and ethical implications beyond academia. Cultural and pedagogical dimensions in the humanities, academic training emphasize critical writing, proper citation practice, and the development of an original scholarly voice. Students are taught to engage deeply with text, construct arguments, and acknowledgeable intellectual source carefully, as originality and expressions are central to the discipline. In the science, education focuses on lab ethics, accurate data management, and formal research integrity training. Students learn responsible conduct in experiment, documentation, and collaboration. However, globalization and increasing competitions for publication and funding have raised the risk of misconduct in both fields. The publish or perish cultural intensifies pressure on scholars, sometimes encouraging unethical shortcuts and compromising academic integrity. Conclusion. Plagiarism is a universal ethical violation, but it is shaped by disciplinary context. In the humanities, it primarily concerns originality of expression and interpretive authority, where in the science it centers on data integrity and research authenticity. Therefore, plagiarism is not a uniform concept but reflect the epistemological foundations of each discipline. Strengthening academic integrity requires discipline specific policies, ethical training, institution accountability, and clear awareness of authorship norms. These are my learning outcomes. Define plagiarism and uh, identity its major forms of across disciplines. Explain how disciplinary knowledge systems shape ethical standards. Analyze authorship, collaboration, and self-plagiarism issues. Evaluate the ethical institution and social consequence of plagiarism, and recognize the importance of discipline-specific academic integrity and policies. These are my references. Thank you. Now, if you feel free to ask a question.
So, Dhruika, my question is, how does globalization influence perception of plagiarism across different academic cultures?
Globalization brings different academic cultural together, but citation and originality standards vary worldwide. These differences can cause misunderstandings about plagiarism in international academic context. Next question.
My question is, can plagiarism ever be considered unintentional, and how does intent affect disciplinary judgment?
Plagiarism can be unintentional due to poor citation skill or misunderstanding of rules. Institutions often consider intent and distinguish between uh, deliberate misconduct and when deciding penalties. So that is from my side. Thank you.
So, hello everyone. I'm Divya Paledra, and today's my presentation topic is the evolution of academic writing from print culture to digital scholarship and network knowledge system. So, let's begin. Here is my academic informations. This is table of content which we will discuss in detail. And this, my research question, to what extent does the integration of artificial intelligence and hypertextual networking in contemporary academic writing undermine or reinforce traditional concept of intellectual authority and authorship established during the print revolution? And my hypothesis is, while digital scholarship and AI enhance research in efficiency and global democratization of knowledge, they simultaneously destabilize the traditional author-centric model of print culture by shifting the focus towards decentralized, collaborative, and machine-assisted knowledge production, thereby requiring a fundamental re-evolution of academic integrity and originality. So, introduction: academic writing has evolved from print culture to digital scholarship, transforming how knowledge is produced and shared. Print traditions establish structured communication, peer review, and intellectual authority, while digital technologies have created network and interconnected forms of research. This shift has also reshaped the citation practices, reflect in the flexible, digitally oriented guidelines of MLA 9th edition. And here the infographic of the evolution of academic writing, how a journey through system of knowledge. So era first is the foundation of print culture, then era 2 the digital transitions, and how the third era, the network frontier, is connected with the print culture. And here, meaning and characteristic of academic writing. Academic writing is a formal and structured form of writing used in research and higher education. It aims to present arguments, analysis, and evidence in logical and objective manners. It is knowledge oriented and contribute to scholarly conversations within academic communities. So here, key characteristic like formal tone, avoid informal language and personal biases, objectivity, focuses on evidence rather than personal opinion, clarity and precision, uses clear and specific languages, structured organization, follow logical order, use of credible sources based on a scholarly research, proper citation and referencing, acknowledges sources ethically. And here, print culture and the emergence of scholarly communication, print revolution. The invention of the printing press by Johann Gutenberg in the 15th century transformed knowledge production. Print technology enabled the mass reproduction of books and scholarly texts. It disseminations and dissemination could take months or even years. High production and distribution cost, printing, storage, and distribution increase financial barriers. As we know, access to journal was often limited to elite institutions. Limited interactivity and updating. Print text are static and cannot be easily updated. No hyperlinks, multimedia integration, or real-time revisions. So here, transition from print to digital scholarship. First one is expansion of access and global connectivity. The shift from print to digital platform enabled instant global access to research through online journal, databases, and institutional repositories. Then digital infrastructure reduced geographical and institutional barriers to knowledge production and circulation. Second one is emergence of network and interactive knowledge. Digital scholarship introduced hypertext, multimedia integration, and interconnected research system. Academic writing became dynamic, collaborative, and continuously updated rather than static and fixed. So here, hypertext and network knowledge system, non-linear and interconnected textuality. So hypertext allows readers to navigate text through links rather than following a fixed and linear structure. This transform academic writing into an interconnected network of references, reshaping how knowledge is organized and accessed. Second one is collaborative and network co-scholarship. Digital platform enable collaborative authorship, shared databases, and interdisciplinary research network. Knowledge production becomes decentralized and participatory within global academic communities. So here the infographic, how hypertext reshape scholarship in architecture of network knowledge system. And here, evolution of citation practices from MLA 7th to MLA 9th edition, shift from fixed format to container system, MLA 8 and 9th edition. MLA 7th edition followed a rigid citation format based on source type, example like book, journals, and website, etc. MLA 8th and later 9th edition introduced the container system, creating a flexible framework applicable to both print and digital sources. These changes reflect the growing complexity of digital and multimedia scholarship. Emphasis on digital sources and accessibility. MLA 9th edition gives importance to DOI and URLs and online access data. It recognizes the databases, streaming platforms, and online repositories as legitimate scholarly sources. The updated guidelines address the realities of digital research environments. And here, digital databases and the open access movement. First one is the centralized access to scholarly research. Digital databases such as the JSTOR, Science Direct, and institutional repositories provided organized access to peer review journals, books, and research articles. They improve searchability, archiving, and long-term preservation of academic knowledge. Second one is global connectivity and research efficiency. Online databases enable instant global access to scholarship, reducing geographical barriers. Researchers can access interdisciplinary materials quickly through digital indexing and metadata system. And third one is open access and democratization of knowledge. The open access movement promotes a free and unrestricted online access to scholarly work. It challenges subscription based publishing and increases academic equity and visibility. Artificial intelligence and contemporary academic writing. So AI is a research and writing assistant. AI tools assist in grammar correction, language underfunded universities, sustainability and preservation issues. Digital materials depend on technological infrastructure for storage and long-term preservation. Changes in software and platform may threaten. One is ethical concern in digital research practice, as we earlier discussed. And here, in conclusion, academic writing has evolved from print-based tradition to digital network form of scholarship. Digital technologies have expanded access and transformed research method, while also raising concern about credibility and ethics. Therefore, modern scholarship must balance technological innovation with critical thinking and and responsible academic practice. And his literature review, print culture shaped early academic writing through textual stability, authorship, and standardized scholarly communication. Digital scholarship introduced the hypertextuality, interactivity, and network knowledge system, transforming how research is written and accessed. Open access movement and digital databases have expanded global accessibility and democratized knowledge production. Contemporary discussion highlight AI assisted writing and ethical concerns surrounding authorship and academic integrity in digital research environments. So this is my references. And thank you. If you have any question, then feel free to ask.
Divya, my question is, does the rise of AI and digital tools weaken originality in academic writing?
So AI and AI and digital tools. AI and digital tools. We use AI and digital tools like ChatGPT and Gemini and etc. So in research work, they work faster, and we know they give easily searching available sources and all those things. But we have to find more on ourselves. So it may be original sources of academic writing.
My question, has digital scholarship truly democratized academic writing, or has it created new form of inequality?
So digital scholarship has made research easier to access access. And when digital scholarship paid more fees, more fees money to everywhere online databases and searching. We have to learn from a digital how they all how they will increase access. But some are not able to access that resources of that. So this from my side. Thank you.
आवाज नहीं गई. So hello everyone, my name is Jay Waghani, and today I will going to demonstrate cultural perspective on academic integrity, authorship, knowledge traditions, and post-colonial tensions. So here are academic and presentation details, table of content, research question. How does contemporary plagiarism policies reflect the Western individualist models of authorship, and the what extent to They reproduce colonial hierarchies of knowledge within global academic institutions. Hypothesis: contemporary academic integrity frameworks are not culturally neutral or universal acceptable or applicable. Rather they are historical rooted in Western individualist authorship models shaped by colonial and capitalist epistemologies. As a result, plagiarism policies often reproduce epistemic hierarchies that marginalize collective oral and non-Western knowledge traditions. A pluralistic and culturally responsive model of academic integrity grounded in epistemic justice would better addresses global academic diversity. So initial one is academic integrity as a culturally situated. So Pinnicook says that academic integrity is often shown or presented as a universal ethical standard. But definitions of plagiarism vary across its culture. That it shows that your academic integrity is a universal, but it is depends on culture, our culture and context, that how we can show it, see it. Plagiarism is not only a moral failure; it is also shaped by linguistic practices and academic discourses conventions. Textual borrowing depends on the cultural idea of authorship, ownership, memory, and learning. Howard introduced the idea of a patching, which is like if we take any text from ChatGPT, then we cannot directly copy paste it in our work, but we should paraphrase it. And therefore, academic integrity is not neutral or fixed; it is socially and culturally constructed. Postcolonial theory framework. This framework allows use to view plagiarism policies as a part of a broader colonial epistemologies rather than a neutral academic rules. So initial one is a post-colonial theory explain how modern system of knowledge, including academic institution, are historically happened by a colonial power and empire. As we all know that colonizers were not only rule on our land, they were also ruled on our language as well. Homike Bhabha introduced the concept of hybridity, that as we can see in India right now, that our language is not perfect. It's a hybrid language, like a mixing of language. And Western people are promote to speaking for subalterns or marginalized people, but they even not give chance to speak them. And here are these critics who shows how colonial power structure influence language, literature, and institutional practices. Epistemic violence and subaltern knowledges. Gayatri Chakravarti Spivak introduced the concept of epistemic violence. This violence is not about body violence; it's about knowledge, violence of knowledge. And the subaltern cannot fully speak because institutions decide what counts as a legitimate knowledge and acceptable discourses. Fricker, she's explained that epistemic injustice about that. One is a native English Western person scholar, and one is from another country. But if they both are full knowledgeable, then also the native speaker will be promoted. Walter argues that modernity is inseparable from the coloniality, meaning Western epistemologies remain globally dominant. Thus, plagiarism regulations can function as a site where knowledge hierarchies and colonial power structure as a reproduce. Sociology of the knowledge and authorship. Authorship is not a natural or a universal category. It is a historical and institutional construct shaped by modern knowledge system. Michel argues that author is an author fiction produced by discourses and system of power rather than an individual origin of meaning. Rolla Barthes declares the death of the author suggesting the texts are intertextual. Like in today's time, if someone is writing any book, then they should take any references from tradition or before generation. That's why it is texts are intertextual. And Bourdieu situates academic authority within the elite institutional structure where cultural capital determines legitimacy. Therefore, plagiarism rules rely on the socially produced ideas of the authorship, ownership, and academic legitimacy. Western individual authorship model. Western academic integrity is rooted in the romantic ideal of the author as an original genius, whose ideas are unique and individually owned. Matha is traces how modern copyright law emerges alongside capitalist idea of the individual ownership and the intellectual property. Rose argues that authorship is the legal inventions shaped by economic and property relation rather than a timeless concept. Because idea are treated as a private property, plagiarism is framed as a theft, a violation of ownership rights. This Western individual authorship model continues to dominate global academic standards today. So, collective and oral knowledge traditions. Many indigenous and non-Western knowledge system emphasize relation and communal authorship, where knowledge belongs to the community rather than an individual. Linda Smith, she is a critics Western research ethics and as colonial and extractive, often approaching indigenous knowledge into Eurocentric academic frameworks. Um, uh, Mari is argues for the nourishing indigenous learning spirit rather than forcing students Eurocentric models of the originality and the authorship. In oral tradition, repetitions, adaptations, and the storytelling are value a method of the transmitting knowledge across the generations. Like if we see in India, like Panchatantra stories and all those things were says to next generation. This tradition challenges the Western assumptions that originality must always be individual and text-based. The page writing and intertextuality and cultural tensions. I have discussed this before. Page writing. Julia Kristiva introduced the concept of the intertextuality. I also discussed it. Colin, that multilingual students may face plagiarism accusations and due to the cultural and the linguistic difference, not deliberate deceptions. Western academic norms prioritize individual originality, creating tension for the student writing across his cultures. Okay. Coloniality of the knowledge and the citation politics. So Quizano introduced the concept of a coloniality of the power, arguing of the Eurocentrism continues to the structured global system of the knowledge and authority. Walter's call for the epistemic disobedience, urging the scholars of the resist Western academia dominance and the creative alternative knowledge frameworks. Sarah shows that citation is a political. Who we cite determines who knowledge is a value and institutionalized. Citation practices contributes to the canon for formalization and a global hierarchies of the legitimacy, often privileges Western scholars. Thus, plagiarism regulations becomes the integrate with broader colonial structure of the knowledge recognition, global academic standards, and the internationalization. Internationalization has created a new global academic order where Western norms and the standard often the dominant policy and the practices in the universities worldwide. Higher education internationalization often exploits the plagiarism policies and the integrative frameworks. Simon is the emphasize about global conceptions and the higher education is a common good towards a pluralistic academic integrity should shift towards epistemic justice. These all things which I discussed before, that this way it can be improved. Okay, this is conclusion. Academic integrity is not a universal or an neutral standard but a historically constructed framework rooted in Western ideas of individual authorship and intellectual property viewed through the post-colonial and epistemic justice perspective. Plagiarism policies can reproduce global knowledge hierarchies and by marginalizing communal and non-Western traditions. A more equitable model of the academic integrity must recognize these diverse epistemologies and promote culturally responsive approaches to knowledge and writing. Here are references. Thank you. Now, if you have any questions, then you can ask.
Jai, my question is, why do international students face more plagiarism accusations?
So if we see is that some students are come from any country where there is a language is like matlab, language is they are memorizing and they are also copying or some text and they put directly on their work, but they don't know about Western universities rules about plagiarism. That's why they uh, that's why they are not able to understand all the systems, and it is normal in their country, but they are going for their present their work, but it can be plagiarized because of the rules, but it is not misunderstanding, it is it is it is a misunderstanding. It is misunderstanding, it can be not plagiarized. Okay, next.
So, Jay, my question is, how do power and language interact in academic writing?
Okay, in today's time, as we see, is that English is a very valuable language. It is used in every university and everywhere, every general and around the world. But some scholar is using native English, and then it can take attention. But if any person who is not from this country or he is using language, this language to shows his work to world, then it can be not fair, because like if we see let me give you one example that if one Chinese person write something on his one on word and his idea is very good, but if he translated it into in English and trying to explain to all world, but some things are changed in this, they cannot perfectly write everything. So this way. Okay, this was from my side.
Hello everyone. My today's research topic is the role and types of bibliography in academic research. These are my academic and presentation details. These are my table contents. Hypothesis is bibliography is a methodological and ethical system that organizes research, validates evidence, and sustain intellectual continuity across academic discourse. And the research question is, how do different types of bibliography function within academic research to structure knowledge, ensure accountability, and support scholarly dialogue. So first is what is bibliography. So this word comes from the Greek. Biblion means book and graphia means writing. So literally meaning of this word is writing about books. Here I gave one definition from this MLA handbook. So a list of source that appears at the end of research paper, providing the information necessary to identify and locate each source cited in the text. So basically, bibliography is a thing which we use as a secondary source of our research, and a list of works cited or usually placed at the end of the work. So the purpose of bibliography is keep a record of the source used during research. So it helps us to stay organized and track our work, where we got our information throughout this research. Then it acknowledge the original authors and creators. So by addressing this source, it gives us a proper credit to the people who done their work in the past, or which we take as a proof to claim our argument, and then help readers access more detail on the topic. So it explore the topic further or verify information which presented in research. Also next is show that your research is based on the credible source. So it trusted and high quality reference, it adds our way to work and prove that the findings are built on a solid foundation and accurate information. Next, bibliography as a research tool. So in the MLA handbook, it emphasizes on importance of preparing a working bibliography. A working bibliography, it means the source which we have taken during our research. So first is record full publication detail, then maintain accurate citation data, and it updating entries continuously. So as we found one by one related our secondary source that we can add in this working bibliography. These next is types of bibliography. So there are major three types of bibliography. First one is analytical bibliography. So it studies the process of book production and textual variation. So in this specify from examines variations between editor printing processes and textual development. Next is annotated bibliography. So is it is emphasized on brief discussion on evaluation of each source. So for example, it's typically 150 to 200 words, and explain the relevance, quality, and significance each source of research. Next is enumerative bibliography. So in this include source that were read and influenced the research, but were not cited directly. Fourth is descriptive bibliography. So in these records the physical detail of books, such as editions, then typography and binding, it mainly used in a textual scholarship. So major citation style and bibliography. So in the different academic discipline, there are major style as MLA, APA, Chicago, and Harvard's. So as per style, there is some of the difference, not that much, but minor difference in between these bibliography. First is MLA style bibliography. Is so in the MLA, there are not a proper word used as a bibliography, but in this use the word as a work cited. In this so work cited page, there is a list of all the works that are directly quoted, and also we use our as a reference for research. Then work consulted. So is this list of sources that were review or read during the research. And selected bibliography. So the selected bibliography is recommended works related topic, and also gives us the further scope or further reading related this research or topic. Next is APA style bibliography. So in this APA style bibliography is a section is titled as references. So is highlight the timeliness of research and reflecting on the importance of current scientific and social science discipline. And in the structure of these APA style bibliography in this author date in citation format, and emphasize on publication year. Then Chicago style and Harvard. So Chicago style offers flexibility, making it sustainable for interdisciplinary research. Then Harvard style is emphasize clarity and simplicity, and allowing reader to quick identify the author and year of publications. These differences between work cited, work consulted, and selected bibliography. So as I mentioned, in the work cited, it includes directly quoted source, which in the reference. And work consulted is a source that read and consulted during the research, but it not directly cited. And the selected bibliography is a source that gives us a reference or recommended us to for further reading and influential work. So in the conclusion, bibliography is an essential part of academic research that ensure organizing, credibility, and intellectual honesty. So through its various types and citation style, it helps us structure knowledge, and bibliography strengthens research by making it transparent and academically responsibility. So these are my references, and thank you. If you guys have any question, feel free to ask.
So Khushi, my question is, how does the preparation of a working bibliography impact the overall quality of a research project?
So working bibliography helps us to organize our list of source from the beginning to the end. So through that, as a result, we can find our overall organizable research. So is in this case, if we start our citing from the first source which have taken for research, so from first to end, at the end we can not hesitate to cite or finding a source for these preparing bibliography. So this way working bibliography helps us to overall quality of research project.
So Khushi, my question is, how does bibliography support scholarly dialogue across generations?
So bibliography, it is a bridge between past research and the present research. So this bibliography connects past to present. So it gives us a idea or a further topic for present researcher. So this way bibliography supports scholarly dialogue across generations, from one to another. So thank you. This is from my side.
Hello everyone, my name is Khushi Makwana. Today I am dealing with the topic plagiarism as an ethical failure, philosophy, and academic responsibility. Personal information, table of contents. My research question is, how does understanding the plagiarism as a moral and ethical failure rather than the merely a violation influence students' attitudes towards the academic integrity and their likelihood of engaging in academic misconduct? Hypothesis: students who are the educated about the plagiarism through the moral philosophy and the ethical reasoning frameworks are less likely on to engaging in academic misconduct than the students who are taught about the plagiarism only through the institutional rule and the punishment policies. Ethical awareness strengthens internal moral responsibility, thereby reducing international plagiarism. Introduction: plagiarism is not merely a technical violation of the citation rules but a profound the ethical failure that the admires the moral foundations of the academic life. This presentation examines the plagiarism through the moral philosophy, emphasize the responsibility, integrity, and the ethics of knowledge production within the academia. The discussion situated the plagiarism within the broader debates on the honesty, intellectual labor, and the scholarly trust. Defining the plagiarism beyond the machine is plagiarism involves in the unauthorized use of another's intellectual work, including the idea of argument, data of language without the acknowledgement. Beyond the definition, plagiarism represents the misrespect of the authorship and despite of the evaluated and readers, eroside of the intellectual accountability. Ethical scholarship requires the transparency about the origin of the knowledge and the respect of the intellectual contributions. Historical evolution of the academic ethics. Historically, imaginary was the one accepted in the classical rhetoric, but modern academia emphasized the originality and the authorship. With rise of print culture, copyright laws, research institution, plagiarism became the frame as a moral and the legal offers, reflecting changing values around the ownership of the idea as a scholarly responsibility. Plagiarism as a ethical failure. Plagiarism constitutes the serious ethical violence because it admires the foundational moral principles that sustain the academic and the intellectual communities: honesty, justice, and respect of the intellectual labors. From a broader moral perspective, plagiarism branches the social contract of the trust within the academia. Educational institution function on the assumption that the knowledge profound it authentic and the responsibility at trims. When the plagiarism accused, it damages not only individual reputation but also institutional integrity and the collective pursuit of the truth. Therefore, plagiarism should be understood not merely as a technical misconduct but as a profound failure of the ethical responsibility and the moral character. Moral philosophy, ethical framework, and plagiarism. Plagiarism can be critical examined through the major moral theory, each of which defining it as ethically identified. First, the deontology. From the Kantian perspective, morality is the grounded in the duty and the adherence to universal moral laws. Plagiarism violates the duty of the truthfulness and the fairness. Virtue ethics. Virtue ethics evaluate the action based on character. Plagiarism reflects the deficiencies in the intellectual virtues such as the integrity, honesty, courage, and the humanity. Third one, the consequentialism. From the consequentialist viewpoint, the actions are the judged by their outcome. Plagiarism harm academic credibility, undermines trust in the scholarship, devalues genius research and the weekend's knowledge system. Across these ethical framework, duty-based, character-based, and the outcome-based, plagiarism is the consistently condemned as a serious moral failure rather than the minor productional error. Academic integrity as the moral system. Academic integrity functions as the normative ethics system that governs scholarly conduct and sustain the moral fabric of the educational institute. It is grounded in the core ethical values: ac- trust. Academic communities operate on the mutual trust that students submit their work, research report authentic findings, and the scholars accurately cite source. This trust enable collaboration, peer review, and the validation of the knowledge. Actionability. Scholars are morally responsible for their intellectual contributions. According sorry Scholarly honesty. Honesty requires the truthful representation of idea, methods, and the sources. Plagiarism describes this moral assumption by the enduring confidence in the academic output, such as the degrees, publications, and the research findings. uh, Types of plagiarism. There are four types of plagiarism: direct plagiarism, mosaic plagiarism, self plagiarism, and the contradictory cheating. The direct plagiarism is the vibrim copying without the acknowledgement. This is the clear act of the intentional deception of the consequence violation of the honesty and fairness. Blending copying. Second, mosaic plagiarism, blending copying the phrases or idea with minor changes. It reflects the intellectual laziness, carelessness, and the failure to the engage critically with sources. Self plagiarism, reusing one's previous submitted or published work without the discourage and though the author is the same. It is the misrespect originality of and violates the transparency in the scholarship. Contract cheating. The outscoring arguments to third parties. This shift and evades moral responsibility, understanding, accountability, and the personal authorship. Causes of the plagiarism, moral and the structural framework. The first one is the performance pressure and the publish or perish culture. Second one is inadequately ethical training. Third one is language barriers and the academic unfamiliarity. Fourth one is over reliance on the digital sources. Individual moral responsibility. Academic integrity ultimately rests on the moral agency in the individual. Students and the scholars bear the ethical responsibility. First, the acknowledge the source accurately. Second, the engage the critically with text. And third, the develop original perspectives. Institutional ethical responsibility. Establish the clear integrity policies. Provide the ethical training and waiting support. Ensure fair investigative processes. This is the responsibility of the institutional ethical. Educating versus punitive approaches to plagiarism. First, the punitive model. The focus is on the detection, surveillance, and the punishment tools such as the plagiarism detection software and the strict disciplinary action aim to detain misconduct through the fear of consequence. While the necessary of the serious violations, this approach often the treats plagiarism as a rule-breaking issue rather than the moral learning problem. The educative model emphasizes the prevention through the moral and academic development. It promotes the ethical reasoning, citation literacy, intellectual honesty. Role of the teachers, supervisors, and the mentor. The modeling, transforming research, the practices, demonstrating proper the citation, honest methodology, and the acknowledge of the sources sets a living example of integrity. Guiding the responsible scholarship. Supervisor helps student develop research skill, citation, literacy, and the confidence in the original thinking. Uh, Encouraging the ethical reflection rather than the replying or only on the fear of penalties. Mentors foster understanding of the why the honesty matters in the scholarship. Plagiarism and the power of relations. First, power imbalances. Second one, the global inequalities, language dominance in the academia. Contemporary relevance to plagiarism and the digital and the AI era, the generative AI and blurrier authorship. The tools such as the OpenAI like ChatGPT and the similar system generatives human-like text, raising new questions about the authorship, originality, and the intellectual ownership. Second, the algorithmic paraphrasing. Automatic rewriting tools can technically avoid the direct copying while the still bypassing genuine the intellectual engagement, challenging the traditional definitions of originality. Third one is ethical judgment on the detections. Conclusion: plagiarism is the fundamentally a moral failure rather than the simple clerical or a technical mistake. It represents the branch of the honesty, fairness, and the respect for the intellectual labor that undermines the trust on the which academic communities depend. Sustaining academic integrity is therefore requiring continuous ethical self-reflection from the students and the scholars. Responsible institutional framework that promotes the education alongside the accountability and the deep commitment to intellectual honesty in research and writing. When ethical remains central to a scholarship, education remains its the credibility, purpose, and the moral authority. Without it, the very value of knowledge and the academic achievement it diminishes. Here are my learning outcomes, my references, and thank you.
Kushi, my question is, how does plagiarism affect the long-term credibility of knowledge production in society?
Uh, Plagiarism affect the society because of the people like they help of someone's work and they use it and without their permission they used it, and this is the affect society that doubt degrees and many things of like this. So it affects not that much, but it affects. Second.
So, Khushi, my question is, can plagiarism ever be considered morally justifiable in certain academic contexts?
In most academic content, plagiarism is not considered as morally justificable because it include with uh, uh, dishonesty and the misrepresentation of uh, all this all the things. So it not. Thank you. This is from my side.
So hello everyone, myself Khushi Ravia, and my Today's topic is digital authorship and the crisis of originality is in contemporary research. This is my personal information, table of contents. So research question is how have digital and AI assisted writing technologies reshaped the concept of authorship and originality within contemporary academic research practices. And hypothesis is digital and AI assisted writing technologies have reconfigured authorship from an individual centered model to a technologically and mediated and institutionally regulated practice, thereby redefining the meaning of originality of academic research. Introduction. Digital technologies and AI are transforming academic research, challenging traditional ideas of authorship and originality. Where scholars were once seen as sole creators, today writing is a network, collaborative, and interwoven with machine generated content. And drawing on Barthes, Foucault, and contemporary AI policies, this presentation explores how authorship is no longer just individual, it is a hybrid, accountable, and regulated. And the so-called crisis of originality is not the end of authorship, but it's a reconfiguration in the digital age. So classical foundation, this is from the essay by Roland Barthes, The Death of the Author. Author is not the ultimate source of meaning, and writing is intertextual, a tissue of quotations. And originality is not purely individual, it is a product of language. This is a quote. The voice loses its origin, the author enters his own death. Authorship is an institutional function. What an author is by Michel Foucault. So, author is a function of a discourse, not a person. And institutions regulated authorship to control meaning, and responsibility and ownership are socially constructed mechanism. In his work, he said that a private letter may have a singer it and does not have an author, and a contract may well have a guarantor it does not have an author, and anonymously text posted on a wall probably has a writer but not an author. So what is the digital authorship? So digital authorship is a collaborative and creative process of designing multimedia content such as videos, websites, blogs with digital tools. And digital authorship differs because writing is a network and distributed texts are hyperlinked, not static. Knowledge is database driven, and collaboration is constant and often invisible. And writing is already intertextual. This is a quote. Today, the technological innovation of the computer is precipitating and accompanying a shift in textual values that may be as profound as the modern emergence of the normative autonomous individual author. Intertextuality in the digital age. The writing builds on existing text, and digital tools intensify borrowing and remixing. And copy, remix, and adaptation become normalized practices. And main argument is digital authorship expose that no text is fully original. Hypertext makes visible what literally critics have theorized, and the cumulative interactive nature of writing that makes impossible the representation of a stable category of authorship, and hence a stable category of plagiarism. Academic evaluation in digital context. It's a reading student writing. Teachers judge authenticity is based on stance and voice, and digital writings makes authorship harder to detect via traditional means, and originality becomes a matter of evolution, not essence. And main argument is that digital authorship challenges traditional academic assessment, and readers voice the concerns of their discipline when they focused on stance writers assume and how they made value judgments. AI assisted writing is the turning point. Here, I take Taylor Francisco's AI policy as a reference. In this, they say AI tools assist content generation but are not authors. And AI cannot be listed as an author in citation. And human authors must disclose AI use and accept full liability. And its critical argument is AI destabilizes the question, who is the real author? A crisis of originality in the AI era. It's a math cop framework. M means moral rights, integrity, and attribution, and paternity. A means authorship, human-centric, non-transferable, and creative agency. Training data. T means training data, transparency, option in, and compensation. And H means human originality. It's a creative spark, intentionality, and novel combination. And if authorship is institutional, all AI forces institution on redefine originality, and originality becomes disclosure based, policy regulated, and transparency dependent. From individual genius to hybrid authorship, we are moving toward a model of selection of validation, and the human role shift from generating to selecting, and accountability remains the uniquely human contribution. Here is the first is the traditional model, shift with the individual to original to owner, and digital model is from network to collaborative to intertextual, and AI model shifting from human plus machine to accountable and regulated. Documentation is a stabilizer. In digital AI context, citation ensures transparency, and works cited tracks intellectual lineage and authority, and documentation protects academic integrity against unintentional plagiarism, and originality shift from creation to responsible acknowledgement. And digital authorship does not destroy originality, and it transfers it from a mysterious creative spark into a very fair process, and the author function is preserved through ethical liability. This is from notebook LM. And conclusion, originality was never purely individual, it was always intertextual, and digital environments expose this intertextuality. AI intensifies it, and the crisis is solved not by rejecting tools but by regulation and documentations. And the final thought is the crisis of originality is not the end of authorship, it's a technological and institutional reconfiguration. These my learning outcomes. These are my references. Thank you. If you have any question, then feel free to ask.
So, Khushi, my question is what strategies help preserve integrity in AI assisted research?
Yeah, so proper documentation and discourse of AI use, rigorous citation practices, they are maintaining a very clear distinction between human contribution and these online tools assistance.
Khushi, my question is how do hybrid human AI collaborations affect creative agents?
So, human agency directly shift to selected generation to selection, and AI provide us suggestions and synthesis. But it's our responsibility, creativity, and ethical judgment are are different from that tool, and it's require human tendency. Thank you. This is from my side.
So, good afternoon to all. Today I'm going to deal with the topic from Wikipedia to JSTOR, evaluating credibility and authority in academic research. Here is my table of content. Here is a research question and hypothesis. My research question is how do students construct and evaluate credibility and authority when transitioning from open access source like Wikipedia to peer review academic database such as a JSTOR in scholarly research. And my hypothesis is Wikipedia is useful for initial research, but peer-reviewed source index in database like JSTOR provide greater authority and reliability. Therefore, students who use structure evaluation method will produce strong academic research than those who rely on Wikipedia alone. So in introduction, in the digital age, we find that more students are rely on online database source. So Wikipedia is a free platform that provide free access to all student or researcher to get information. So the shift in information seeking, so internet has become the primary information source that used by adults and children, students, scholar, etc. And education increasingly argued that the solution is not banning Wikipedia but teaching students how to use it responsibly. Then the research in the digital age is no longer about access but a discernment. The critical skill is not avoidance of online platform but capacity to evaluate them intelligently. So when we see the criteria for evaluation, that which source are more reliable and which source are used for our academic writing. So there are a measure of four criteria: that authority, who is the author of the work and what are the author's credential for writing and publishing this work; that which person is writing article or any online source, and what is his or her background; and accuracy, is the information furnished by the author correct, is the argument presented logically without bias. So many a time we find the bias in the writing, so we have to check accuracy first and then verifiability. Are the author sources clearly and adequately indicated so that they can be verified? And another is a currency that determines whether the material reflect up to date scholarship. So whenever we find from this criteria one is falling, then our argument is not a proper or proper or background based argument. Then understanding the open nature of Wikipedia. So as we all know that Wikipedia is an open peer production, that means we all are edited the site of Wikipedia or page of Wikipedia. So here Illaudi argue that scholar describe Wikipedia as a probabilistic accurate. We cannot consider confirm or accurate information from Wikipedia. It is a probabilistic accurate, and Wikipedia's openness enable rapid expansion and correction. Yet the absence of traditional gatekeeping creates structure vulnerability alongside adaptability. Here is the short version of it. And the challenges regarding accuracy and attribution. So Wikipedia allows anyone to contribute and edit encyclopedia entries. Author do not post their credential in term of expertise. So here we know, here it not required to give our expertise information. Normal people can also edit the page of Wikipedia. There are a certain opportunity for a vandalism, and the lack of an editorial board or governing process may result in under coverage of certain topic. This study did reveal inaccuracy in 8 of the 9 entries and expose major flaw at least 2 of the 9 Wikipedia articles. Then 8 Wikipedia article content attribute quote and at least 5 cases of possibly plagiarized content. And Wikipedia is a reliable than other reference resources. Then the characteristic of a scholarly authority. So which from which characteristic we can understand or finalize that this article or particular data is a scholarly authentic. So here are some criteria that most reference work rely on scholar to write and edit their article and essay. So first we have to check at the end of article or any particular page, there are a list of bibliography or any resource that used by writer. So most scholarly journal and academic book publishers are committed to a policy of consultant review, commonly referred by scholar as a peer review. In peer review, publishers seek the advice of expert reader or referee before considering a manuscript for publication. So whenever we publish something, we have to cross check the which person is a expert reader of that, or we have to check reference and other things. And then a manuscript submitted to a refereed publication must undergo rigorous scrutiny before it published. So these are the characteristic of scholarly authority. Then critical assessment. So when we find that JSTOR is a more relevant than Wikipedia, so why this happen? So we discuss the criteria. So JSTOR is a perfectly fit in the criteria of authoritarian journal. So it has a peer review content, scholarly authority, depth and reliability, and academic use also. Then the characteristic of scholarly authority that JSTOR has, and the limitation of CRAAP. This is the traditional evaluation criteria. So it evaluate authority, accuracy, verify, and currency. And other side we have SIFT. So it method help to readers evaluate online information efficiently and strategically. So it stands for a stop, investigate, find, and trace. So rather than reading a page vertically and accepting its internal claim, SIFT encourages lateral verification across multiple resources. At the end of the all the citation or bibliography, we have to use it ethically. So the academic standard require writer to acknowledge all borrow work and clearly distinguish their own idea from those of other. Widely acceptance or common knowledge may not need citation, but when in doubt, writer should always cite their source to avoid plagiarism. So in conclusion, we find that many people use Wikipedia as a source, but this is not reliable source. That the reason we will discuss above, and that's why the JSTOR is a most reliable source than Wikipedia. So this is from my side. Here is the resource. Now you are free to ask question.
So my question is, how does authority change when expert knowledge is replaced by collaborative platforms like Wikipedia?
So whenever we think about the collaborative platform, so when one particular journal published, at that time we find that this is a credential database platform, and Wikipedia is used by many people or edited by many people. So we find the process based project that keep on changing, and it may take a place of expert knowledge, because it is not easily accessible to all.
So, Krishna, my question is, can human judgment remain central to source evaluation in a algorithm-driven information environment?
So according to me, nowadays we find that human argument or a human judgment, it is a central for nowadays. But I'm not sure about future, because there is a multiple use of open AI, or every people try to use AI. So it can be changed that in future maybe the machine or open AI is a central judgment for research or any particular advice. So this is from my side.
So, hello everyone. Today I'm going to deal with the topic research methodology in the age of AI, evolution, ethic, and challenges. So, here is table of content and introduction, the setting, the context. So, research is a systematic process of inquiry aimed at discovering and revising knowledge. Research methodology is the structured framework that guides the entire research process. Artificial intelligence. So, it is computer system capable of performing tasks that require human intelligence in research. It includes machine learning, large language models, and automated analysis tools. Why this topic is matter? So AI is reshaping how research is conducted across disciplines. It offers efficiency and innovative while introducing new ethical challenges. So here are my research question. So how does the integration of artificial intelligence transform traditional research methodology, and what frameworks are necessary to maintain academic integrity while leveraging AI capabilities? Hypothesis is AI integration in research improves efficiency in literature review, data analysis, and documentation, but it also creates ethical concerns about authenticity, transparency, and intellectual ownership that requires update institutional policies. Traditional plagiarism detection tools are insufficient to identify AI generated content, requiring a shift from detection based system to disclose based academic integrity frameworks. Researchers trained in ethical AI use shows a greater awareness of proper disclosure practices and a stronger adherence to academic integrity than those without AI literacy training. Conceptual foundation, these we discussed in introduction. A scholarly perspective on AI and research. So recent scholarship shows that AI is not just a tool but a representation of a fundamental shift in how we conduct research. How AI changes research philosophy. So, research published in State Journal suggests that AI integration into qualitative research may signal a return to positive principles. And the human element remains essential in this. So, despite AI capabilities, scholars emphasize that human judgment is irreplaceable. Research from Willy indicates that while machine learning and natural language processing help with tasks from literature reviews to data interpretation, ethical consideration and methodological rigor must still be maintained by human researchers. Then the evolution of research methodology from paper to AI. So in this infographic, we see that from traditional era, people are more rely on the manual script and more rely on books. In digital era, it changes and people are going in internet and finding many research from internet. And then in digital in this AI era, people are directly give their resources to AI and generate one summarized form and analytical forms from AI. AI tools in research. So, how effective is AI evidence from research? A study published in JMIR AI compared AI tools against the gold standard Prisma method for systematic reviews. The finding shows that Prisma method continues to demonstrate clear superiority in reproducibility and accuracy during literature search, data extraction, and literary composition. While AI can save time with repetitive tasks, acting research participation remains crucial. AI tools in research, data analysis and writing. So AI in data analysis. Machine learning identifies trends invisible to human analysis. It forecasts outcomes based on historical data. It also handling data sets too complex for traditional methods, and it also analyzing multidimensional data and identifying stubble uh, co- correlation correlation. AI in academic writing. So it facilitates the idea generation, improves content structuring, supports literature review and synthesis, enhance data management, and assist with editing. Key domains of AI writing support. So AI idea generation and brainstorming, content structuring and organization, data management and visualization, grammar checking and style refinement, and citation formatting and reference management. Advantages of AI in research. So it enhanced research efficiency, improved data analysis capabilities, increased accessibility, supports for interdisciplinary research, and enhanced literature discoveries. Ethical concerns in AI assisted research. So plagiarism and originality issues. So AI generated content blurs traditional plagiarism boundaries. Research from PMC highlights that AI systems can produce authoritative sounding but incorrect content. Question of authorship. So if an AI tool writes substantial portion of paper, should it be credited as a co-author? Current academic standards rejects AI authorship because AI lacks moral agency and cannot take responsibility for errors. Bias in AI systems. So AI system trained on historical data inherent and potentially amplify existing biases. Transparency and disclosure. Many researchers use AI tools without disclosing their involvement, creating transparency. They create a transparency gap. Impact on critical thinking. So research indicates that AI tools may undermine critical thinking skill and the quality of academic work. Key challenges in AI assisted research. So the detection problem. AI detection tools face a significant accuracy issue. According to the Journal of Academic Ethics, AI tools become more advanced in the generation, increasingly human-like text that becomes harder to detect. Transparency crisis. So AI system often operates black boxes, making it difficult to understand how they process information. New forms of academic miscodant. AI enables the sophisticated research fabrication, digital divide and inequality. So advanced AI tools often requires expensive subscription, creating disparities between well-resourced and under-resourced institutions. A framework from ethical AI integration. So here is a ethical AI integration, 4 pillars of research integrity. So here you find these 4 pillars: transparency, accountability, consistency, and verification. So it suggests that human not overly dependent on AI, but they also have to give their own logical reasoning and their own ideas to AI. They do not have to fully rely on this AI. Recommendation for ethical AI use. For individual research, they have to practice transparent disclosure, maintain intellectual ownership, and verify AI outputs and protect sensitive data. For the academic institution, they have to develop clear AI policies, provide AI literacy training, update honor codes, and foster opening dialogues. And for publishers and journals, they have to establish AI disclosure requirements, develop review guidelines, and create clear standards. Conclusion. So AI represents a transformative fourth research paradigm that significantly enhances efficiency in literature review, data analysis, and writing, while simultaneously introducing critical ethical challenges, including plagiarism, authorship, ambiguity, algorithm bias, and transparency issue. Key obstacle persist: independent detection mechanism, digital inequality, and new form of academic misguidance. Our responsibility is clear that harness AI powers to advance knowledge while safeguarding the integrity, critical thinking, and human judgment essential to scholarship. Here are my references. Thank you. Now, if you have any question, then feel free to ask. So my question is, if AI makes research faster and more efficient, why are we worried about it?
So, speed is not everything in research, because if we more rely on AI, then it also affect our own critical thinking. And sometimes AI generates content which is looks like a very true, but it there are chance it is false, because and also there is a raises question about authorship also.
So, Krupali, you mentioned in your presentation black box problem. So, what does it mean?
So yes, black box means in AI we find that we don't know that how AI makes decisions, and it gives us answer. That's correct, but we don't know that how it generates and how it generates answer, and what is behind it, and what is the process coding and all that behind it. So we don't know. In research, it is very important that we have to maintain. We have to understand and clarify that how we are came to the concluding part. So it is very important in research. So black box problem means as like in black box we can't open the black box, as like in research with AI we don't see that what is the behind what is the what is the output behind, what is the real what AI can, what from AI give us this information. Yes. So thank you.
Okay, so hello everyone, I'm Kumkum Hirani. In today's presentation, I'm going to deal with the topic from plagiarism to intertextuality. Where do we draw the lines in research writing? Here, the academic information table of content research question was that how can we clearly distinguish between the plagiarism and legitimate intertextuality in the academic research writing? Hypothesis was plagiarism and intertextuality can be distinguished on the basis of a proper attribution, authoritative intent, and the transformation of idea rather than a simple textual similarity. When a writer clearly acknowledges source and reshape borrowed material to produce a new meaning, it becomes a legitimate intertextuality. However, when material is used without transparent citation and without the original intertextual contribution, it constitutes plagiarism. Here the introduction. So in the introduction, I'm write about the plagiarism and the intertextuality. So now what is plagiarism that we all are know. So I'm not going to read it. Intertextuality like is when an author and poet give a proper citation and credit to the people in the text, and in their work they mention them. So it is about the intertextuality. And what is plagiarism? So basically, plagiarism is the idea data where the author tried to hide from the original author who write that, and it's using someone extend words without a quotation mark and citation, like paraphrasing idea without giving credits, resubmitting someone else's work, and someone works at their own. Also, plagiarism may be intentionally or unintentionally, but both are considered as the academic misconduct. Expanding the view, plagiarism as a social practice. Here, the critic Helesek also says them sometimes plagiarism do as unintentional. As a university level, as a student learn something new, so they cannot directly write. They cannot directly research and write their own. And sometimes they take help of the generative AI. Some scholars, scholars articles, some books, some and it's sometimes students struggle to learn academic discourse, so sometimes they take the information for their research. Yeah, the intertextuality, a theoretical framework. So intertextualism is a concept like literary theory, suggests all the texts are shaped by the text. Writer always echoes, transform, or respond to prior discourse. William compares writing to a palimpsest. Palimpsest means the manuscript what we write earlier text and not in a book form. Or this means originality does not mean a complete independence from the sources. Rather, it involves the reworking and the reinterpret what already exists. Thus, influence is natural. The ethical issue lies in whether an influence is acknowledged. The palimpsest metaphor in writing. So, intertextuality is a concept from a literary and cultural theory that argued no text exists independently. Writer often echoes, transform, reinterpret, or respond to previous work. So, also, influence in writing is naturally unavoidable in both literature and academic research. Scholars show originality by critically engaging with source, not by avoiding them. The ethical issue is whether influence and acknowledged and developed, not whether it exists. When sources are cited and ideas are transformed, intertextuality becomes an intellectual participation, not a plagiarism. Intertextuality in a research writing. In academic writing, intertextuality appears through the literature review, theoretical framework, engagement with the scholarly debate by the agreeing, disagreeing, or extending earlier argument. Use of disciplinary terminology like developed by the earlier scholar. Quotation and paragraphs that bring other academic voice into the discussion. Critical responses that analyze or reinterpret previous studies. Researcher shows the textual awareness by the citing a source for clearly accuting, positioning their arguments in a relation to existing scholarship, explaining how their work contributes something new to the conversation, distinguishing their own voice from the voice of other scholars. This process transforms borrowing in a scholarly dialogue rather than imitation, making a research writing a collaborative and involving form of a knowledge making. Here are some key differences between the intention and transparency. Like here are the 2 points: plagiarism and intertextual. Here make the chart that how plagiarism is a hide source claim, false originality, avoiding attribution, and breaking accident rates. Sometimes author just not mention the author. And intertextuality was a make sure source visible, show intertextuality like use citation and acknowledgement and build a shared knowledge. Plagiarism is rhetorical failure. So here the item argue that plagiarism should not be understood only as a moral wrongdoing, but also as a rhetorical failure. He argues that academic writing requires writer to position themselves among the other scholarly voice. Writer must show how their ideas related to response to or differ from the existing researcher. And also, proper citation is not just a technical route, but it's a rhetorical strategy for entering academic conversation. Here, the academic integrity in a complex era. So, Davis argued that some point like knowledge is a widely available online collaboration and information exchange is encouraged, and a strict rule about individual authorship and the originality remains. The tension can confuse students about the count as acceptable borrowing. Therefore, understanding the difference between the plagiarism and intertextuality is increasingly important in guiding ethical researcher practice today. Here the case study like Sarvapalli Radhakrishna. So we all are aware about that case was he he reproduced passages from his student thesis. So here the main problem was the lack of transparent attribution and closely similarity in argument. And he is, when his student find out that he copy his work, still he is not accepting his fault. And another one, Joy Biden, who is uh, plagiarized by the speech controversy, like used biographical detail from the speech by British politician Neil King Coke without proper credits. Both are the plagiarism. Yeah, the intertextuality work. So we all are aware about that in Ulysses James Joyce at the Odysseus in a related to epic modern doubling. In the second one, the plays of illusion by the Chitra Banerjee. He also retelling of a Mahabharata and narrated from a Draupadi's perspective and add feminism interpretation. But knowledge source was new viewpoint. Here the wasteland, like T.S. Eliot used the Divine Comedy, the Bible, and reference of the Hamlet. And the poet Jem Coetzee, it's rewriting Robinson Crusoe. So here the intertextuality that author and the poet use another writer or author's work, but they are mentioning them in their work. So where it is the line? So difference between a stealing and plagiarism and building means intertextuality comes down to three simple like the hide versus show rule. Means transparency, the copy change means transformation, and shortcut plus conversation rules means intent. Here the conclusion, plagiarism and intertextuality both are involved using priority text, but they differ in ethic, visibility, and purpose. Plagiarism consult, influence, and misinterpretation authorship. Intertextuality open, acknowledge, influence, and contribution to scholarly dialogue. The line is drawn as citation, transformation, and intellectual engagement. Responsible research writing means entering academic conversation, honesty, thoughtful, and critically. Here are the references, and thank you. If you have any questions, then feel free to ask.
So, Kumkum, my question is, as you mentioned, K. Hazel's view that plagiarism is a sociological issue. Can you explain what that means in simple terms?
So, K. Hellesex used the sociological issue because believe that that writing and work are related to socially, because when it's become a two-way, like if you have to write a paper, then you have to also submit and represent to the other people. In that you have, when you take someone's work and reference from the line, so if you have to mention them, so there is no also plagiarism when you cited them. So yeah.
So, Kumkum, in your opinion, what is the single most important factor that turn intertextuality into plagiarism?
So basically, the most important factor is the transparency, cause yes. So transformation. So in the research writing, there is two important intertextuality and plagiarism. So basically, intertextuality is like a open door when you open door when the author or a researcher just try to mention their other authors work and they cited them. They if they take reference, so they are not they are shown that the things. And the plagiarism is like a locked door, because the author try to hide the main sources from where they take information, and where they take some original sources. So there is kind of differences between the intertextuality and the plagiarism. So yeah, thank you. This is from my side.
So today my presentation topic is the ghostwriting and hidden authorship in the academia, ethical, legal, and scholarly and technological implication. These are the information, table of content. My research question: how does the ghostwriting in the academia affect the ethical standard and the legal accountability, technological perspective, and the recognition of the scholarly contribution? Hypothesis: ghostwriting in the academia undermining the ethical norms and advance the legal accountability, explore the technological tool, and abuses the contribute or the original scholar, and thereby the compromise the integrity, transparency, and the credibility of the academic research. Introduction: ghostwriting. First, we know what is the ghostwriting. Someone else writing and publish others. The ghostwriting academia occurred when the person of the group present work their own, while the significant uh, politician are the written by the someone else. In the politics or business, ghost may be tolerated, but in the academia, especially of the student essay, it is the considered in the disnet and the unethicals. Legitimate and the collaboration include the collaboration from the research assistants or the term of object projects. Unethical ghost and consult the contribution fastly in the presenting the work and the independence, such as the practices undermine the academic integrity, credibility, and the fairness in the scholarship. In digital tool AI assistant, writing the platform have the increased the output opportunity for the ghostwriting, making the detection and the accountability for the challenges. How ghostwriting appear in the academia. Professor published a work by the assistant. Faculty may maybe take a credit for the paper or the chapter primarily written by the research assistant without the acknowledgement their uh, contribution. Student hearing the ghostwriting student sometimes use the professional to complete the essay assignment and the dissertation due to the deadline, languages issue, or the pursue or the performs. Junior research remaining the uncredited the assistant or the collaboration may be contribute significantly to the research project, but are the not listed as the author, making their work invalid. Ghostwriting grant proposal and the rotated writers may prepare the grant application, policy paper, and the institutional report, while the credit author receive all the recognition. Freelance writer producing the scholarly work in the independence writer create the article or the conferences paper that are the published under the someone else name, hiding the true authorship. Use the easy SMLs in the online receiving. Online platform provide the pre-written essay, research paper, or in the custom academic and constant of the conscious and the compromising the originality. Ethical and moral dilemmas. Ghostwriting may be the see as the way to generate the economics and benefits. It's allowed to professional with the limits, time, or the resource to the access to build the crafted academic or professional documents. Using the ghostwriting work is the compromising the authenticity by the hiding the true sources in the idea and arguments. Is the indiculous the ghostwriting miles to readers about who actually create the content. Ghostwriting can be erode the trust in the academia and the professional communities understanding, undermining the credibility or the published work. Academic ghostwriting in the Indian context. The demand of the ghostwriting in the India reflect the border issue of the academic pressures and the ethical compromises. Ghostwriting in the evolve from the isolated cases into the billion-dollar global contrast chatting in the industry. Rise of neoliberal universities has been intensified demand for the ghostwriting works. India has been major hub with the compromising and reducing the gratuity from the reputing institute. Experts argue that institute and the governments to the recon- reconsider the neoliberal politics and the implement measure to the curb and the contradict the settings. Flow of the raising the high uh, unemployment among the India graduate to have to pushing the May into the ghostwriting as a financially viable but the ethically problematic career in outputting. And digital platform, WhatsApp groups and the flashing marketplace have the made the ghostwriting easier to the assess, allowing the grazing opportunity else and readability without the regulability. Academic integrity and migration and approaches. How to the control this the all those writings and the which is the tool to control this all this thing is the promote the cultural academic integrity, rise of the awareness and campaign, institutional policy and student support and motives and legal measures and the new wild frameworks. AI in academic ghostwriting is the AI is the very major role to the in writing this process. AI generated academic content made the chat GPT and produced the essay, research paper, and the even dissertations. Define the challenging is the more challenging quality, efficiency, ethical, legal, conscious, human role in the vita future implication. Also, the rise of question about the whatever AI replace the human host writing while the highlight the limit of the automation in the scholarly writing. Case study of the example. Many example also we see the in this shadow scholar confessed the ghostwriter ED Denta reveal he wrote the through the paper academia. He is also revealed that he writing the many PhD thesis in this assistance. Legal implication in the academic policies. New York and many New York education law, Australia anti-trust, New Zealand offices, Singapore, in different country also is the many law to in this ghostwriting in controlling. In conclusion, ghostwriting in the academia poses the serious ethical and moral legal challenges affecting the authorship, credibility, and integrity. Both student and professional rely on the ghostwriting due to the academic pursuit, time, constitution, or skill gaps. AI and the automated tools are transforming at the landscape, making the detection harder and the rising new ethical questions effective in the solution required to the combination of the awareness, institutional policy, legal frameworks, and the educational suggestion. And felt the authority and accountability critical to the pursue just standard in academic research work. These are the references. Thank you.
So my question is that how can institution reduce the rise of ghostwriting?
Yes, many way to the control the ghostwriting and also many school many to start with the schooling and to student to ask to this method and also colleges and thesis writing is to ask and use a very unique pattern to the scholarly interview and ask to any question about this thesis and this type you controlling this course writings.
So my question is, why is ghostwriting considered unethical in academic work?
Uh, yes, is ghostwriting is the sitting of the other student and other scholars. Someone student are writing write down with the other people. So is the what is the measure is the education level of this person is not actually we see, and what is is the actual knowledge and what is the actual author of this work is maybe confusing and cheating.
Good afternoon, everyone. My today's presentation topic is an analytical study of research and its major types. This is academic information and presentation details. My hypothesis is each major type of research serves a distinction academic and practical function based on different in methodology, scope, and application. And my research questions are how does understanding the major types of research enhance methodological clarity in academic investigation? And second research question is what makes research a structural and cyclical process rather than a linear activity? Table of contents. So before I introduce the what is research, let me introduce the origins of the word research. So the word research comes from the old French word recherche, and it derives from the meanings. It means the again, or searcher means meaning to search. So it can be called as a to search again. So we called research as a to search again or to investigate thoroughly. Uh, so what is research? So research is a systematic investigation including a research development, testing, and evaluation design to develop or contribute to generalize knowledge. Research in a common parlance refers to a search for a knowledge, and it is a scientific and systematic search for a pertinent information on a specific topic or area. And Redman and Mori define research as a systemized effort to gain a new knowledge. Three basic operation of research. So it has three basis operation. First is a data collection. It refers to observing the measuring and recording the information. Second one is data analysis. It refers to arranging and organizing the collected data so that we may be able to find out what the significance and is generalized about them. And third is a report writing. It is an inseparable part and final outcome of a research study. Its purpose is to convey the information contained in it to the readers or audience. 8 distinct characteristics of the research. So the originated with a question or problem, then requires a clear articulate of goal, then follows a specific plan or a procedure, then usually divide the principal problem into a more manageable sub problems, and it guided by the specific research problem, question and hypothesis, then accepts certain critical assumption, then require the collection and interpretation of data and attempting to resolve the problems that initiate the research, and it is by its nature cyclical and more exactly helical. So the research is, as I mentioned before, the research is a cyclical process that first begin with asking the question, then identifying important factor, then formulating the hypothesis, correcting relevant information, then testing hypothesis, then working with hypothesis, then reconsidering the theory, then asking the new question, and research is a cyclical process. Types of research. Basic research. So the basic research, experimental and theoretical work undertaken to acquire the new knowledge without looking for a long-term benefit other than advancement of knowledge. The research problem has no apparent application to any existing practical problem, but only of the scholarly interest of the community of a researcher. The research is called to be a basic research. For example, a social researcher in a development country has investigated if there is any relationship between the religion and occupation. As we attempt to see the relationship found and develop the countries is also present in the developing countries. We are doing this is called as a basic research. Applied research. So the applied research, variously known as action research, operation research, and social research. A decision linking research is a type of the research that covers a wide range of social science areas. It aims to practical solution to immediate problems, and it has a problem solving nature, and it reveals the answer to the specific question related to action, performance, and policy need. For example, the development of vacancy to prevent COVID-19. So scientists conduct research to solve the specific real world problems, reducing infection, severe illness, and death caused by the coronavirus. This is the difference between basic research and applied research. Evaluate research. So evaluate research is a concern with the evaluate of such a occurrence of a social and organizational problem or intervention. It assesses the implemented activities, examine the effect of activities, assess the short-term effect, determine the impact of programs, evaluate the success of intervention. It has one example. Goiter has highly prevent the many parts of Bangladesh. UNICEF Bangladesh initiate the lipidol injection campaign in some select Thana in 1989. After the period 2 years, the impact of the campaign was evaluated. The results were compared with another area where no such companion was launched. Historical research. So it is a systematic investigation, evaluation, and synthesis to evidence to establish the fact and derive conclusion regarding the past event. And it derived from the Greek word historia, meaning to inquiry, research, exploration. And it generally explore the date, event, but a unique account relativity between time period, people, place, and events. These are some types of historical research. Key objectives. It determines the past event, interpret the event, and establish the pattern, and it understands the present in light of the past, envision and anticipate the future possibility. And nature of historical research, it based on the historical data and source materials. It cannot repeat an event like a laboratory or conditions, and relies on the primary and secondary sources. and after reflective thinking on unsolved problems. Descriptive research. So descriptive research include the case study, surveys, and fact-finding inquiries of a different kind. And the main purpose of the descriptive research is a description of the state of affairs it exists at present. The example of the descriptive research, market study on people choices is mostly like a descriptive research. A qualitative research, it is concerned with a qualitative phenomena, that is phenomena or relating it to involving quality or kind. It focuses on collecting non-numerical data to understand the concept, thought, or experiences. Quantitative research. Quantitative research is based on the measurement of a quality or amount. It is applicable to phenomena that can be expressed in terms of a quantity. It is used to measure the issue through the producing the numerical data or data that can be translated into usable statistics. And it focuses on the quantifying the problems and generalizing the result from a sample to the population. The experimental research, and it shows the where participants were assigned to group based on the some selected criterion, often called treatment variables. And the primary characteristic of this research is manipulation of least one variables and control over the other relevant variables so as to measure its effect on one or more dependent variables. And research will always have to two or more groups for comparison on depends variables. It is only type 2 research which can be established through cause and after relationship. For example, when we divide the two group of this event, one group is read the original Macbeth drama, and one group was read original drama with the adaptation of the movie Makbul. So when the other group watched the movie as well as the original drama Macbeth, so they have a better thematic understanding of the movie. So it is called as a experimental research. Significance of research. Research is important for research in studying a social relationship and seeking answer to the various social problems. And research has a special significance in solving the various operational and planning business industry, and it needs to develop strategic and modules in rural development. And in this research include the scientific and inductive thinking, and it promotes the development of logical habits and thinking and organization. And it to analyze the intellectual research may mean to generalize of new theories. And the conclusion, research is a systematic and scientific process to generating to new knowledge and through the structure and cyclical inquiry rather than a simple linear method. And it is by understanding this type of research, gain methodological clarity, synthesis, critical and logical thinking, and contribute meaningfully to academic advancement and societal development. These are references. Thank you. If you have any question, feel free to ask.
Sankar, can you explain the more detail how the research is the cyclical process?
Okay, so as I mentioned in the presentation, so research is a cyclical process. First, the researcher collect the data, then they analyze this data, and after research on the data, they find draw the conclusion. After drawing the conclusion, the researcher find some problems, gaps, limitation are discovered. Then it leads to the further research. So it becomes the cyclical process of the research. Okay.
So my question is to you that how does the distinction between the basic and applied research reflect the relationship between theory and practice in academic inquiry?
Okay, so difference between basic research and applied research. So basic research mainly focus on developing new ideas, concept, and theories, but it is without focusing on practical uses. While the applied research focuses on the practical uses to solve the real life issues to based on the practical solution to the specific issue. So it is difference between the basic research and applied research. Thank you. This is from my side.
Hello everyone. Today's my topic of presentation is from intertextuality to scholarly networks, the structuring function of citation. So in academic writing, we know that academic writing is intertextual. So by the use of citation or the citation functions as the key role to structure the academic writing. So my personal information, table of contents, and my research question is how does citation function as a structuring mechanism that formalize intertextual relations within academic writing? And my hypothesis is citation functions as the formal mechanism through which intertextual relations are structured and integrated into broader scholarly networks. So, introduction. Academic writing does not exist in isolation. Every research text emerges within a continuum of prior ideas, arguments, and intellectual tradition. While texts are inherently rational, scholarships cannot rely on fluid connections alone. So it requires a structure, documentation, and visibility. So this presentation will examine that how citation function as the structuring mechanism through that formalizes textual relations within academic writing and integrates individual research text into broader scholarly networks. So citation and definition and function. So is Cambridge University a word or piece of writing taken from or written work, and citation is a formal reference to a source used within academic writing, and it establishes relation between claim and intellectual origin. And in historical function, it emerged as the scholarly practice to ensure traceability and accountability in research in academic writing. And it and documentation system developed to standardize scholarly communication. So here, three pillars of academic citation according to the Purdue all University. Like parenthetical, numerical, and note based. So just overview of textuality. So it is a mosaic of quotation, and like it has elements of many ideas and prior discourse and talk. So it is a kind of a sea. So then according to Barthe, text is a tissue of citations drawn from cultural codes, and sources are often anonymous and or already read also. So core idea is no text exists independently, and meaning emerges through relation among text. So intertextuality describes textual ontology. And a structural crisis here, if we see that if every text is intertextual, then relations are infinite and rational by nature. And influence is often diffuse and anonymous, and no stable origin or hierarchy is guaranteed. And however, academic discourse requires traceability and coherence, accountability, and identifiable sources. So just by having a relational by nature, we cannot give the justice to the academic writing. It must have a traceability and coherence, accountability, and citation as a rhetorical intervention. So citation operates as a conscious intertextual strategy that shapes discourse production, and referring function persuasively, recruiting authority, and constructing intellectual alignment with the field. So basically it connects the idea in coherent way, and its accountability. So intertextuality is ontology, logical, and it describes the condition of a textual being. And citation is institutional. It governs how those relations become visible and authoritative. It gives authoritative voice into the academic writing. So from individual link to system, like from one citation is one stabilized relation, and repetition creates a pattern, and patterns from a cluster of, within a field, and those all cluster generate a visible disciplinary structure. So citation allows the text to enter the participate in the existing scholarly conversation, embedding it within a cumulative system of knowledge. So then citation as a network and structural architecture of discipline. So citation networks makes the structural organization of scientific discipline empirically visible. It gives a coherent and scientific voice. Citations accumulate the knowledge of knowledge becomes measurable, authority becomes traceable, and disciplines requires a structural coherence. So this is the key role of citation. So individual referrals scale into systemic intellectual architecture. Then the key function of MLA as the architecture of formalization. So the MLA as a handbook also establishes documentation as the standard practice required to ensure coherence and bibliographic stability. Like parenthetical citations operates as a live structural anchor which links the textual claims to retrieval sources. It connects or it gives the meaning. It works as a cited list, functions as the structured network map, and allowing knowledge to remain traceable across a time. It gives the accountable or a good academic writing for the future also. Then architecture of knowledge, a three-stage model. If we see here, then first comes this latent intertextuality, the mosaic, or the concept of Julia Kristeva, that the universal sea of infinite, like it has many kind of ideas and prior discourse, but then comes the second stage, formal citation, which where fluid influence is stabilized, like all the ideas is connected in one place, and then scholarly it becomes the map or scholarly network, which is a structure, disciplinary architecture. So like citation act as the structural hinge that connects the nature of text ontology to organized system of the university, like institutional knowledge. Then the politics of structure, a critical reflection. If we see the problem visibility, like citation structure knowledge, it also act as a filter also. Then sometimes it has bias also, like it may cites the overcited author also. And within network, authority often emerges through frequency and repetition, as said. And like a map, citation network highlights the some paths, and some it may ignores other also. So what will be the balance insight is that citation is a kind of technology that makes knowledge possible, but we must remember that every structure inevitably shapes what we are allowed to see. And in conclusion, academic knowledge is built through a clear transformation, while intertextuality shows that all writing is a mosaic of existing idea. It is the act of citation that provides the structure, as scholars like D'Angelo and Gilbert argue that citation is the event that stabilizes these fluid ideas into formal links. So as these citations links accumulate, and they form a structure, scholarly network through institutional tools such as the MLA handbook, diffuses textual influences are transformed into a stable and traceable map of academic knowledge. So by concluding, I believe that we do not only cite merely to acknowledge the past, but we cite to make acknowledge structurally possible for the future. Then my key learning is intertextuality does not equal to, structure. Citation act as a structure mechanism, not a moral, just moral rule. and disciplines are built through citation networks and documentations as a intellectual infrastructure. Here are my references. Thank you. Now, if you have any question, feel free to ask.
My question is, if intertextually already explain the rational nature of the text, why it is the citation still necessary in the academic writing?
Intertextuality is already explained in a rational nature of text, as also discussed earlier, that we have many ideas in academic writing, many prior discourse, but citation is the tool which creates them in coherent way, in a scientific way, even for the accurate for the future use also. So that there comes the function of citation.
So, Trupti, my question is, if citation networks structure disciplines, can they also produce bias or unequal visibility within academia?
Yes, sometimes it may create bias or unequal visibility. Like sometimes the oversighted author again the new researcher cite again them, so it may create a bias in citations also. But the balance view would be one should go into a good research, and then one can go into the academic writing. Yes, so this was from my side. Thank you.
My topic is the importance of academic integrity in higher education. Here is my academic details, table of content, and here is a definition of academic integrity. So it describes academic integrity as a moral and ethical framework that guides that how students, teacher, and institution works and behave in education. So it is not just about avoiding plagiarism, but about following values like honesty, fairness, trust, respect, and responsibility in all academic works. So, in simple term, academic integrity means doing your work truthfully, giving credit to some others' works. So, it is the real idea of academic integrity. Then, what is academic integrity in higher education? So, it in colleges and universities, academic integrity forms the ethical base of education and scholarship. So, it encourages students and researchers to present their work truthfully, without any plagiarism and without using copy idea of someone's. So, it respect the ethics. It respects the intellectual contribution of others. So it means completing academic tasks with sincerity, producing original research, and following fair practices during the examinators. Then core values of academic integrity. So in this, first is honesty. So the honesty is the center value of academic life, because education and research are built on truth. So when students produce original work and avoid copying, they develop real understanding and knowledge. Second is the trust. So trust develops that when people consistently act with integrity, when students submit genuine work, and teachers evaluate fair and sense of confidence growth within the academic community. Then fairness. So it's about ensure that everyone is treated equally and judged by the same standards. So clear rules, transparency, grading, and the unbiased evaluation help maintain justice in academic settings. Then respect. So in this, academic life means appreciating different perspective, cultures, and opinions. So a learning environment becomes stronger when individuals listen to each other and accept different in throughout. Then the responsibility. So in this, it means understand that maintaining integrity is not only the individual task, but it also about a shared duty. Every member of the academic community, students, teachers, and researchers, so it plays a vital role, and it's also a role in the protecting the value of the knowledge. Then courage. So it is about in academic integrity means putting ethical values into practice, not just talking about them. So it is the inner strength that helps students and researchers to remain honest even when they feel pressured or succeed or meet deadlines. Then prevention. So when students starting the research paper, or as well any like we are doing dissertation, so first we get the idea, we have to not plagiarize any idea or any material, but we have to come to our own idea, our own research works. So it is better to explain these all rules before our before we start writing. So it's help to avoid punishment approach. So punishment rather, it's prevention is better for writing. So it's also a good impact on the students, like we can put our major idea rather than copy any other's idea, so it can help students in their writing. Then transparency and fair treatments. So it is also about that in academic settings means that rules and expectations and evaluation process are clearly communicated to everyone. So students should fully understand what counts as plagiarized, cheating, and proper citation before they submit assignments or appear for exam. And when institutions practice transparency and fairness, trust develops between students and teachers. So it's like the bridge between students and teachers, that teachers have to clarify some idea about the plagiarism and other ethical rules, and students also have to clarify that idea very clearly. Then what is the plagiarism? So plagiarism harms the academic community by destroying trust between students, teachers, and researchers. When originality is replaced by copying, the process of real learning is weakened. So it is also about the why plagiarism is the dangerous, because it's destroyed trust in academic community. It also originality taken the originality and knowledge creation. Then form of plagiarism. So this is the main four part of the four form of the plagiarism. So first is this is from form of plagiarism happen when someone copy sentence from the source or slightly changes the words without giving proper credit. Then taking a particularly apt phrase. So it's about sometimes a writer use unique or powerful phrase created by another author. So using such special expressions without quotation marks or acknowledgement, it's also plagiarized because the phrase is the intellectual property of original writer. Then third one is about plagiarism is not limited to copy word, but it's also if a person use another author's idea, reasoning, or argument structure. Fourth is about self plagiarism occurs when a person reuse their own previous submitted work without the permission. Then when documentation is not needed, this idea is we also cleared in the our lecture. So here I mentioned example like William Shakespeare. So no need to mention the his date or born date or the any place. Then the what is the prevention strategies. So it is also about first teach citation skill, like we learned how to cite in APA, MLA, and the Chicago style. Academic writing workshop we just did in our department, and also ethical awareness program and research training. Then the conclusion. So plagiarism is not always intentional. It is often happen because students do not fully understand how it cite sources correctly. So however, even um, plagiarism can harm academic credibility. So academic writing requires careful use of reference and proper acknowledgement of others idea while presenting original thoughts. And ultimately, true academic success is not just about mark or achievement, but about honesty, responsibility, and authenticity in learning and research. Here is my references. Thank you.
Mansi, my question is originality more about new ideas or about a new perspective on existing knowledge?
Yes, so it's not need that you have to bring whole idea or in your creative only your creativity or only your some new bringing or upholdment, but you can analyze or give new meaning to someone else idea, and you can use with new meaningful and in uh, give that new idea and acknowledgement to others work.
So my question is academic integrity primarily a matter of person, character, or institutional culture?
Yes, so first we take that personal character. So it is about on that particular person, that which subject or idea they want to choose. And it's when it's about institutional culture, so it's the responsibility of institution to teach ethical values, idea of plagiarism, how to cite any source or in which styles like reference work cited. So this is like bridge between students and teachers or academic institution. So thank you.
Okay. Hello. Okay. Right. But you had to mention while citing the journal article type of source rather than a web page or a website, right? So all three sources which I'm referring to are actually articles, right, and authentic sources, but you had to choose the type of source as article and not website or web page. So that minor change or minor issue with type of source can lead to, again, your alphabetical order being mismanaged, right, and also problems with the MLA guidelines which we follow, right? So then check it once and then you have to correct it. Then Joy's presentation was good, citations were okay, but formatting requires a little bit of care in that, right? Some of the content of your presentation is moving even beyond the boundaries of the slide, right? So you have to design and format it properly. Otherwise, citations, content, everything was good. Uh, Khushi Makwana, right? Some of the links which you have provided cited well, but the link is opening to the home page of the website and not the actual article or actual post. In that case, citations are correct. Just check the links of the citation there, right? Why? Because they are opening to the home page of the website and not the article in itself. So that you have to do. Khushi Ravia's presentation was good, but there is one mistake in citation which is leading to alphabetical order mistake. So just check it once. Then Kumkum's presentation, again, issue with citation. Citation is correct, but alphabetical order. The very first one, Radhakrishnan's article, right? Roundtable India source. It should have been cited as a blog post, which is correct. But if it is beginning with RTI admin, then R should be later, right, in the alphabetical order. So correct citation, but mistake with the alphabetical order. So that is one. Then Parthiv presentation was good. PPT is good. Need to improve a little bit of speaking skills. You have improved a lot since the first semester. Good improvement, but a little bit more effort would make it better. One suggestion I would like to give you as far as asking questions to presenters is concerned. You asked Sanket, right, that what is the cyclical method of research, right? And he had already explained it in one of his slide with, in fact, an image of the cyclical process of research. So in that, I have mentioned this earlier also in one of your presentations in the previous semesters, that what is already given in the presentation, you don't need to ask, right? You ask the later, the implication or a particular term which you did not understand or require clarity. That way you have to ask questions. Otherwise, presentation and everything was good. Now, as far as the general remarks are concerned, right, apart from these minor issues, there are no mistakes as such in anybody's presentations or any issues or concerns to deal with. However, there are some of the things which we can discuss later on, even in research methodology class or in any future conversation regarding research. In that case, the very first thing is the idea of textuality, intertextuality, hypertextuality and the ethics and plagiarism and those issues which we have. A lot of you are dealing with that point. Divya and Kushi Ravia's presentation, for example, they were dealing with this idea of hypertextuality and intertextuality, right? And how can we understand them in the context of research? That is one. And the other was this idea of authorship and AI and ethical usage of AI in research, which a lot of you dealt with. Krupali's presentation was a good example in that case, right? So then when it comes to the ethics of AI and authorship, first, authorship in the context of AI has started shifting its definitions a lot, right? Previously, people said that if you have to use AI in research, you mention it as a part of acknowledgement section, right? And you just mentioned the number of AI tools which you have used. Then it has moved now to the idea that prompting is also a kind of authorship role. In that case, it is also a kind of writing, because the way you prompt, the way the type of content you receive. So then that is also there. But within the process of research as such, you don't find clear guidelines apart from these 2 points of consideration: how to cite AI as a tool, right? So nowadays, most people and most journals, what they do is they ask for a clarification like that in the acknowledgement section, which I've just mentioned, right? And even if you have prompted for any, even if it is for grammatical usage, even if it is for structural usage, even if it is for content usage, you just mention it as clearly as possible in the acknowledgement section of your paper or your thesis or dissertation, and it is valid enough. However, as I said, that how much of that is also allowed is a question, right? So if you will keep on allowing people for acknowledging, then people would draft entire thesis and just put it as an acknowledgement in the acknowledgement section, and they'll be like, okay, this is fine, this is fair. So then again, the guidelines keep shifting. So we have yet to see. Another thing, the decisions regarding how to incorporate something as ethical or unethical depends on what is considered as legal, as was pointed out in I think in Jai's presentation also, right? What is considered legal is then translated into what is considered as ethical. So when the print revolution happened and the print as a media came in, so whatever was written down, documented, and in print form was considered as legal document, right? Why? Because they were insisting on the idea that it should have a written source, right? And manual drafting was done, so then print was the only way in which people would consider something as legal and ethical. Now things have shifted, as a lot of you have pointed out in your presentations, right? So now we need a revisit of not just the idea of ethics, but the idea of legality also, right? What is legal and what is not? Screens have now become a center of our discussion of our lives, and therefore that has to be considered in the considerations of legality, right? Because today, even when screens are part of everyday usage, people still don't consider screens as legal platforms, right? They have trust issues with screens. So then what was it in the print form which the screen is missing today? That is the larger question to ask, right? If you trusted the print form which was in your hand, then the screen is also in your hand, right? So then you need to reform those ideas that screens need to be legalized first in order to be considered as ethical. And then we will have to move to AI. So reaching AI is a long journey in that case in terms of ethics and legality. Another is as I pointed out, textuality, intertextuality, and hypertextuality, right? These are very you can say discussed and debated questions as such. First, the idea of textuality itself needs to be defined and redefined before we move to intertextuality and hypertextuality, right? What is considered textual is normally in usual definitions, what you find is something which uses words. That is how people define a text. But then you remember Barthes, who said, no, that's not the case. You have images, you have moving pictures, and number of things. Then text is different. Nowadays, anything and everything is considered part of a text. Spoken word, sung word, any sort of expression is considered text in that case. Any color or any object is also considered part of text. So then before you move to intertextuality, you first need to define what is text, right? And then if there is, let's say, even at the broader level of textuality, you find intertextuality, then you move to hypertextuality. These are steps or stages of understanding the mode, media and materiality of writing or expression in that case, right? So that is the broader discussion wherein you need to situate things now, right? That when a particular mode changes, as in mode of expression, like writing was the mode of expression which was preferred, standardized, legalized, and later on considered as the norm for everybody, right, for many years. But before that, you had the oral tradition, as I think it was in Divya's presentation, right? The oral tradition, and even in Jai's presentation for that matter, oral tradition had n number of intertextual elements, but many of us don't even remember them today, right? Every song which was sung by a group of tribals or a group of community while commuting through journey had references to the kind of ideas which were circulated in their society, in their culture. But oral things were since not documented as such, that idea of intertextuality was missing. And that is where the idea that you read post-colonial context of textuality, intertextuality, and hypertextuality, and then decide what is considered as plagiarized and something which is unethical in that case. So that is where things are. One, as far as hypertext is concerned, and since that is part where I'm working, the idea is that hypertextuality is a potential, right? It is better understood as a potential. Anything can be turned into a hypertext, just like anything can be considered as text, anything can become hypertext. So then, therefore, your normal web page is a hypertext in itself, right? You just open up Google, anything you click is a hypertext. Why? Because it is leading you to n number of pages later on. So then, when it comes to citation, therefore, and as Drupti pointed out, the structural format matters a lot, right? And because the norms of morality are not clear as far as how to understand this structure, right? The structure of hypertextuality, you don't know how much is ethical and how much is unethical in that case. So that is where the idea is that people need to understand the potentiality first of modes, right? That anything now can be turned into intertext, and anything now can be turned into hypertext. So now you have to rethink. If anything is possible in such a case, you need to rethink your idea of legality, plagiarism, ethics, everything, right? So that is where we are as far as these things are concerned. Another is the idea of shift from human to materiality. So as far as authorship is concerned and AI is concerned, right? What you have is a shift, clear shift, which you find from human to materiality, right? And remember that the earliest accounts of writing were collaborative in nature, right? Human expression began with a collaboration with all the materials which were available in those days. So if you look at cave paintings, for example, the collaboration happened between the human, the linguistic, and the stone, right? So then it was never, humans were never the only point of consideration for authorship. Suddenly, because of print revolution, we started associating the idea that authorship is human only. But since the very beginning of the very practice of writing or expression itself, authorship was never a sole case. Authorship was always collaborative. Collaboration between materiality and humans, right? So then, therefore, now I think it is high time that we revisit these things again, right? And that is what all most of the presentations which were dealt with today, considered in their discussion. Another idea is also about the process of research, or the considerations for research. How much can be considered research? That is also a question, right? Anything that becomes standardized then limits the kind of consideration which can be made. So what happened with text is also happening with research, right? We have standardized that this, if you do this, only that would be research. right? Only that would be methodology, only that would be authenticity, right? But then as we move on, you find that there are n number of processes of doing research. There is never a standard research. And that is where the idea of formalized curiosity comes in, as we discussed in the last class of research methodology. The impulse is curiosity. The impulse is to know more. So then there are n number of processes. It is just that right now a few of them have been standardized and accepted, right? That if you do qualitative research, it is standard. If you do quantitative research, it is standard. If you do evaluative research, it is standard. If you have a proper structure from abstract to the conclusion of the research paper, then it is standard and accepted. But anything outside this is not research, right? So that is where the problem lies, right? That people have standardized that this should be fine, this is good, and then anything outside it is not research oriented in that case. So that is where now in the broader discussion of points where we need to think, right? And I've forgotten the name of the authors, but there is one manual for qualitative researchers, and it begins with this very idea that anything which is done in the name of effort for knowing more can be considered research. It begins with that particular line, and that is where things are as far as the methods of research or the process of research, the nature of research is concerned. And finally, as we have discussed time and again in research methodology classes, that all research is a conversation, right? So before you decide the ethics, before you decide the morality of things, before you decide the impact of research, because a lot of people go after impact factor in journals, right? That this journal's impact factor is huge, so I should submit my research paper here for publication, so on and so forth, right? And people evaluate impact factor as an important consideration before giving points for publication also, right? So then you have to remember that impact is decided based on what you consider as impact, right? So then if all research is a conversation, right, how much of the conversation is impactful or not, is decided by the people who are in the conversation, right? So if right now what I'm doing, what I'm telling you is a conversation in itself, right? How much impact does it have will depend on how much do you listen. And you are the ones to decide that how much impactful it was, not the person sitting outside the room. Why? Because they don't know what the conversation was. So then we have to think that when we decide impact factor, who is deciding the impact factor? Who decides the level? Right? So it goes on to what, like, a lot of you pointed out that it is in a way a very structural, political, material condition in itself, right? So impact, conversations, all these things have to be considered before we understand research in the broader term. So yes, that is it from my side. Very good, all of you. Well done. A little bit of issues with the time, of course, but on an average, the ideas which you presented were very well presented. So we are happy. And this is where we conclude the session and end the live.